Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is December 22nd, 2019. My name's Eric Peters, and joining me today, Mr. Mike Tyson.
Got a lot of rare things on sale, stranger.
I'll buy it at a high price.
Welcome.
Welcome, Mr. Dan Curtis.
Oh, stranger.
And late as always, Mr. Tom Reagan.
Hello, you three strangers.
I thought you were going to go with, like, hello, you slag.
Gentlemen, we're back.
Hello, four of us. For the first time since
Foursome has returned.
October.
Thank you.
It's been a while.
Stranger.
Come again. I'll buy it at a high price.
Thank you.
Not sure if pirate or merchant.
A little bit of both. Why can't you be
He's not
both?
sure either.
Yeah.
True.
Whose side is he on?
Look,
It's a good impression, though, Mike. I like it.
he's on the side
You
of
could
whoever's
honestly be
got the
voice
most
actor.
money.
He's on the
Whoever's got the
capitalism side.
Yeah.
Whoever's got the most potatoes.
He's like the, is it Drebin from MGS4?
Yeah.
That's who he is. I'm part of the war economy.
Here's a long, elaborate story, completely unnecessary, about this woman you just killed.
Look, just give me the gun, and here's some potatoes.
And that's Resident Evil 4, everyone. Goodbye. It's true. Is this the earliest we've ever got onto the game of the week?
It is. I think it is. You ruined it,
Yeah,
Mike.
Eric, can
Dial
you
it
edit
back
the
already.
music?
We got
Can
like
you edit
3
the
hours to
exit
fill
music?
before that.
What, Todd?
Shit.
Can I edit the music in? Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, just put it in as if the show's ending. but then bring us back.
I can do it.
There we go. We're all good.
I have to
He'll
apologize.
forget, but he says he'll do it. He says he'll do it.
Nope. Look, I've got a pink highlighter.
I'm going to highlight my face. Eric went full thumb for a moment then.
What about erect nipple? What note am I making? I already forgot.
Put the music in.
Put
The music
In.
inside.
music
Right in.
in as joke.
Yes.
See?
Great. Brilliant.
Put music in.
No context, no timestamp. Just put the music in as a joke.
If I remember, I remember. If I don't, whatever.
So he's not going to remember.
100% won't remember.
Anyway, so if you're welcoming back from the music being put in as a joke, hi. If this is just carried on as normal,
Sorry.
hi.
We all make
If you-
mistakes.
And if you have if you thought the end music was the end and you've stopped listening, bye.
Listen, I'm going to blame it on this Las Plagas that I picked up in Belize. So just leave me alone.
You came into contact with some gonads, did you?
I did. Lots of gonads in Belize. But yeah, that's why we're a week late, because I was in Belize.
You've been on Flobby
see.
Wibble.
I was on
See?
flobs. I needed a flobby wibble.
Wasn't it work flob, though? Flobby Workle.
Worky wibble?
Yeah, he was work flob, wasn't it?
I mean, it
Although,
wasn't...
to be fair,
I
the
wasn't-
only times I've ever seen you take time off, you're still working for like 27 hours a day anyway.
There's 24.
This
Just
is true. You
replying to
had-
these
you had the
1,000
entire
emails
week off
I
with-
received in the last 5 minutes.
Look
You had
it.
the entire week off with us and you were still constantly working.
Look it. Them dollary dues ain't going to make themselves.
I think it was rude when he was sat there on his laptop whilst Hazel was walking down the aisle at my wedding, to be honest.
Well, you know, a deal's a deal.
Gotta get that sweet commish.
Yeah, it was technically it wasn't a work vacation, but it was a vacation through work, if that makes sense.
He asked the bloke marrying you what the Wi-Fi password was. Unbelievable.
I mean,
We've
you were
moved
there,
on,
Tom. You know it was a woman, don't you?
If anybody has any objections, yeah, the fucking Wi-Fi in here sucks.
What about later on when we were back in the hotel room? He's on a sales call and just lifting his leg up and letting loose the rabbit pie farts. Well,
Pardon me.
Can I hotspot off someone's mobile, please? Thank you.
God, it was a hot spot in that room, I can tell you. Jesus.
Gave a whole new meaning to the term hotspot. But
Brilliant.
yeah, it was.
My eyes still twinge in cold weather from that.
Next time you come over, I'm going to have rabbit pie mixed with Dr. Pepper. Or I'm sorry, Mr. Pibb.
You ain't staying in my house.
Followed up with a curly whirly.
Oh, God, could you imagine? That would be the trifecta right there. Rabbit pie, Mr. Pibb, and a curly whirly.
I'm pretty
and then
sure
wash
that would
it
just be
down.
I mean, Zelda's going in a strange direction there, but...
Wash it down with a thing of millions.
Oh, fuck, I mentioned Zelda.
Oh, damn it. Well, we may as well just get Final Fantasy out of the way.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. We're good.
Good.
Pretty sure if you had all four of those things, Eric, your bowels would just leave your body.
They would just cement up. Just
Don't millions do wonderful things to your body?
oh, dude, millions just oh.
I sent Eric a few tubes of millions a couple of years ago.
Made the mistake of eating them all in one dose. Just
Oh my God.
I love
Rabbit
those.
pie aside, you ever thought maybe it's just sugar that's the problem, Eric?
didn't put a
He's
whole
in the
lot
wrong
of thought
country.
into it. Yeah.
I'm no scientist.
All I know is I put it in one end and it comes out the other.
And then blocks your
Shape or
toilet.
form.
That's you.
Yeah, you.
Yeah. So
Pot kettle black and all that.
but no,
dear.
it was technically a work function. Well, not a work function, but a trip that I won through work.
Not a malfunction.
It was a malfunction, yes. It was a all expenses paid trip to Belize for 5 days, Wednesday through Sunday. Yeah, there were people from work there. It was a good time. You know, we ended up going with one dude who I'm not too particularly fond of, but fortunately he got sick and didn't really get to spend a whole lot of time with us, so we all won in the end.
That was awfully convenient, Eric.
yeah, it was a good time.
Tamper with some food there or something.
I mean,
Did you sabotage his Alka-Seltzers?
I didn't. I took his alcohol.
Put some spice into
by
his food,
doing
he starts
nothing.
choking. Then Mrs. Doubtfire starts running across the room to give the Heimlich maneuver.
Help us on the way, dear.
Jesus, that's a weird reference, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it was.
Yes.
How did we get there?
I don't
I'll
know.
get anywhere.
I don't know.
But
But what did you get up to? Anything nice?
yeah, we did. We did an all-day catamaran out in the middle of the ocean. Swam with some sea turtles, some manta rays. Did some coral reef scuba diving or snorkeling. A little bit of free diving. Swam with some sharks. And then
Nice.
we went to this island that apparently about 10 years ago got split in half by a hurricane. So we poured it up there for lunch. And as soon as we get off the boat, this dude hawking just cooked baked goods walking around. Like, he is the most stereotypical Jamaican dude. The first thing out of his mouth as we poured up, he's like, "Wagwan!" And he walks up with all of these baked goods. And of course, somebody's like, "Got anything else?" He's like, "Of course I've got something else." And he pulls these little special magic brownies out of his pocket.
I was going to say, were they baked goods or?
They were baked goods, and they were baked goods. Let me tell you what. But yeah, it was just a nice
They
little.
won't be the only baked goods after eating them.
They were not. They were not. But it was a good time. You know, I did
Nice.
disconnect. As much as you don't believe me, I did disconnect, and I do recall a message in the WhatsApp chat like, "Anybody heard from Eric? He's been uncharacteristic."
Yeah, it was me. That was
we
me. I was
thought
the
you were
only
dead.
one
We thought
concerned
you were
about you.
dead.
Yeah, I was disconnecting.
I want it noted that it was me who thought if you were okay or not, Eric.
I
want it
appreciate the
noted
concern.
Right here, right now. I want you to timestamp it. Put it on your note about the music. Timestamp it. Factory sealed episode.
53:18.
Because I don't know what it is. Timestamp. Mike cared. There he
Mike
goes.
cared.
I was hoping you were dead.
Mike
Write that down.
Caird, right there.
Okay, yeah.
Written in
Honest.
pink, forever memorialized. I'll throw it away after the show.
Well, I'd rather you recycle it, seeing as though it's got my name on. I don't want it turning up like in some sort of American like trash heap.
No, I'm going to increase
This
your
was
carbon
Mike.
footprint one bad note at a time.
No. I mean,
Mike
I'm very disappointed in
Tyson,
you.
but not the Mike Tyson, is responsible for this litter. But no, Belize is an interesting place. Let me tell you what. It is a place that thrives off tourism, but it is still technically classified as a third world country. And when you're in the town, it definitely feels like it. But you get out to the resorts, and it's extremely lavish. You're right on the edge of the Caribbean Ocean. You've got white sand beaches and crystal clear water. But you go a mile into town, and the town is just overrun with golf carts. It is the goofiest thing in the world. There are very few cars. The only cars there are like the big vans that serve as taxis to take people to and from the resorts, but everything else is golf carts. You see 15 people packed into a golf cart. Just rush hour traffic in golf carts is borderline hilarious.
I heard it's the urban golf capital of the world.
I was told not to get off my golf cart and walk by myself, so I could not practice urban golf. But there, speed limits are suggested, stop signs are optional, and if you want to make a left turn in front of other traffic, you just go, and everybody is supposed to stop for you.
Yeah, but if you're only in a golf cart, you can't cause that much damage, surely.
You know what? You're right. But these
What's
golf
the top
carts...
speed of a golf cart?
What's that?
What's the top speed typically of a golf
typically
cart?
a golf cart, gas
Not
powered
to
golf
golf in
cart
60 seconds.
has a governor on it, so it doesn't go. You're not driving down the fairway at 35 miles an hour. All of these
It's not got a
had
what on it?
a governor. A governor.
Like Arnie or something.
It governs the speed. A governor.
So a limiter.
Yes, but here they're
This is
called.
one where the English win this one, Eric, because a limiter makes sense. It limits the speed.
But it also governs
doesn't
the top
govern it.
speed.
It doesn't.
You will not go above this.
Exactly.
I've spoken. Clack.
Some old dude on the back of every car banging a gavel or something.
That's what happens to
sorry,
politicians when they retire. They become governors on golf carts.
You will not go more than 40 kilometers.
Banging his gavel off your head. Stop it! Stop it!
Sorry, governor.
Anyway, carry on. Sorry. What?
Thought you were giving me shit for not calling it a governor.
No, the fact that it's called a governor and that's fucking stupid.
All right, I'll let you win this one. The limiter had
Yeah.
all of these golf carts had it taken off of and thrown away. I mean, these golf carts were bullets in comparison. I felt genuinely unsafe driving them. Top speed on these things had to have been 30 miles an hour. And if you've ever driven a golf cart, you know that the steering on them isn't the tightest thing in the world. And one we were driving was, I'm doing this back and forth just to keep the damn thing going in a straight line with 6 people on the cart behind us. It was a treat. Oh, and to get from the resorts into the town, they had one single bridge, and it was $5 to cross the bridge and back.
And you needed like 800 metal materials
Yes,
to build it.
yes, and people had to keep dumping it in there to keep it going.
Did they accept potatoes as currency?
It was never the same guy collecting money, so I think it was just like this random turf
Is he the
thing.
governor of the money, or is he the collector of the money, or does he govern the
He
money?
governed the bridge.
Was he stood there in a large coat and looked like he was about to flash you?
Yeah, well, he did flash us.
Welcome to Belize.
It's humid here. Pardon the must. So, no, it was never the same dude. So we were convinced that the bridge was just one of these things where if you didn't see anybody there collecting money, you could just walk up and act as the person collecting money. So every time you wanted to go into town, you had to have cash on you. But the Belizean exchange rate was 2-to-1. So $1 American was $2 Belize dollars. And you could pay them in either currency, and they would give you a mix of currency back. So if I bought something that was like $17.75, I'd give them whatever I gave them and just kind of hope that the change was correct because it'd be a mix. And like, I don't have time to sit there and do the math. I'm sure I got ripped off half the time.
Yeah, Budapest is a bit like that. I can't remember the actual local currency of Hungary, but they deal in euros and their own currency as well, and you can pay in either, but they generally prefer you to pay in their currency rather than euros.
Hungary was hoofs.
That was it. Hoofs.
Hoofs,
like
like-
hoofs.
Just drop a bunch of pig feet on the counter.
Yeah. So
I
weird.
tell you what, though, the people in Belize are probably some of the nicest people I've ever met. And how can you not be that nice when you're living on a tropical island? It was awesome. Not the safest
I don't know if
place, but
If you're a surly cunt, maybe.
well, apparently San Pedro they're pretty strict on it, where if you get into any sort of trouble with the law, they boot you off the island.
Wow.
So-
What, into the sea?
Make you walk the plank.
Back to Belize City, yeah.
Spooky. Did you see Spooky?
Sorry, that is zero context for the audio listeners. But, just in Tom's new cat.
He's out and about now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you can stroke him now. You can pick him up. Yeah.
Put him down.
I remember when you said you got him, you'd never be able to pick him up. So that's
I
amazing.
know, right?
Can
So,
you flip
yeah.
him on his back yet?
No, he will roll over and you can rub his tummy and he's
That's a
fine
very
with
good
it.
sign, though.
It is, but you can't pick him up and cradle him and be like, "Rah."
You can't do cat
that's
beard?
level
You
two.
fixed him, Tom. Well done.
Yeah, hopefully.
That
cat
cat
whisperer.
was so scared when he got it. It was hiding inside a futon.
Yeah.
Yes. I took a Stanley knife to the bottom of my futon to get him out because I was fed up with him being in there.
As if the cat wasn't scared enough when suddenly just a sharp blade comes through where it's hiding. Here's Tommy.
You're done now, buddy.
You're coming on out with me.
To the lake with you, my hairy friend.
It's
The
the
cat's
cartoon
just inside
equivalent.
there and Tom's head comes through the hole.
It's the cartoon equivalent.
Here's
Circular
Tommy.
saw around the floor.
Poor cat.
Yeah.
Just petrified of you. That's why he's being friendly. Like, ooh, behave yourself.
Right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Eric. I didn't mean to
Sorry,
distract us with Tom's cat.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you had a good
But you
time.
had a lovely time.
Yeah, except the trip home. We got delayed 24 hours, so it sucked. I ended up having to spend the night in Houston and all of that.
Did you not pay the guy at the airport to let you through?
I tried, man. Trust me. I tried everything. But, we're spending 5 hours.
Those airport governors are real strict.
The gavels are extra heavy.
They limit how many flights go out a day.
Oh.
Is that a bad one?
I don't know.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I think we've long since gone past bad straight into shit. Gone past that.
1-star
just keep
reviews are
going.
welcome.
To be fair, we haven't had any reviews in a while, which means that we don't really have any bad ones. So,
We haven't.
yeah.
One
So
thing I
come
do
back
have to
bonus,
say
come
about
back.
the trip, though, is that Christy's had this long-standing fear of swimming in water, and she actually got in the ocean and snorkeled for about an hour and a half, about quarter mile away, half mile away from the boat, and we got back in,
Nice.
and she's like, I want to do that again. So we got to our next stop where they're like, all right, this is called Shark Ray Alley, and it's known for all the nurse sharks and huge manta rays. Like, we're just going to take a bucket of chum and we're going to huck it off the back of the boat, and then you all are going to jump in. I'm like, sign me up. So they chuck this bucket off, and he just goes, all these sharks are just chomping at the bits at the back of the boat. And they're like, all right, just jump to the right, please. Then jump in the water, and you're about 8 or 9 feet of water with all these sharks swimming around eating chum and manta rays.
Fuck that shit.
Dude, it was fucking cool.
Were you in a cage?
No,
No, fuck that shit.
they weren't great
know, right?
whites.
How are you alive?
Punched it in the face. No, they were
I hope that works.
they were nurse sharks. So
Oh,
1
they
out of
weren't
5
like,
stars, endorsed
wait.
animal cruelty.
oh, it wasn't like 10 copies of Jaws or whatever.
no.
Okay.
They were nurse sharks. I mean, they still have
What,
teeth.
like
They
just
could,
DVD cases coming out? And Eric's like, oh, they're unsealed. Ah! Swims away.
fucking hell. Yeah. But yeah, they were nurse sharks and manta rays and all that shit. So yeah, I had a good time. Drank a ton of alcohol, and then we went deep sea fishing on Saturday. And all the fish that we caught, we filleted up and had a restaurant come pick it up, and we fed everybody with the fish that we caught.
That's cool.
Ate some barracuda, which apparently I found out you're not supposed to eat because they carry a pretty serious bacteria that...
Is that why you're ill now, by any chance?
I mean, I was feeling ill beforehand, so probably not.
Hopefully this has sort of just balanced it out.
Yeah, I try not to think. But let me tell you what, barracuda is awesome. It is a good tasting fish.
Is it just a certain way you have to cook it to remove that bacteria?
We deep fried all of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Deep fried it?
Rolled it and fried it.
You caught fresh fish and you deep fried it.
I mean, I didn't. The restaurant did.
Tom, have you ever been to a chip shop in the UK?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Oh,
Yeah, that's exactly what they do there. Spoiler, that's what they do there.
Oh, yeah. But it's not fresh from the fucking ocean caught 2 hours ago, is it?
It might be.
Let me tell you what, it was a great...
No, it's not.
Yeah, it might be.
News for you.
It was a great feeling eating the fish that I caught.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
That is
Feel
good.
earned.
I'm glad you didn't just murder it and then chuck it back in. So
Get out of here.
some people do that.
No. But deep sea fishing is really fucking cool because you start catching one and you're reeling it up, and then like this whole swarm or school of the same fish come up, like they're watching their buddy go up to the heavens. They're like, no, don't go. And then the other people on the boat drop their lures in and they go, oh, sweet. And then no. And he's just like being on a TV show and you're just reeling him into the boat. It's awesome.
Oh, wow.
It's a good time.
Wow.
But I did end up getting seasick because we were about 5 miles offshore, past the reef. So the reef in Belize is the second largest barrier reef in the world, and we went beyond that. And it wasn't really rocky waves, but we're in just a monohull fishing boat, and just that little subtle swaying back and forth. Like, I'm going to be sick. But our captain brought a bunch of beer. It's like, here you go, drink a beer, you'll be fine. And I was fine.
Ah, yes, alcohol. Well known for not making people sick.
Yeah, exactly.
You've had a much better week than I have.
Oh, yeah, I heard yours was...
I found out on Monday that I'm actually moving house this weekend, which I've spent the past couple of days
Which you were supposed to do at the beginning of December.
Yeah, well, originally when we first bought the house, it was going to be the end of October. So
I remember this distinctly because I messaged Hazel in November saying, do you think you'll be in your new house when I send Micah's birthday present? She said, probably not. And now it's the back end of December.
yeah, the weekend before Christmas. And then I'm still not podcasting from that house. I am now podcasting from a friend's house because BT have fucked up everything.
We need context to that.
I'll let you explain, Eric. It's your daughter.
It doesn't get old.
BT.
I think I mentioned this, but Ellie would watch me play Death Stranding, and anytime the BTs would come up, she'd just go into this southern accent like, Dad, it's the BTs. So I sent the guys a video of her saying BT.
Now, did you influence her to do this, or did she just do it?
I think she just did it.
Wow.
She's your child.
Oh my God, is she?
But then because I've been mentioning BT so much this week, every single time I mentioned it, we've shared it into the group again.
Well, because we covered that on the Getaway show where you guys have that. It's British Telecommunications.
Oh, yeah.
British Telecom, yeah. But yeah, they fucked it. I will give you the very short version of the story, which for some reason is still very long. I rang them on Monday to basically trying to get ahead of the curve of getting the internet set up. And I said to them, look, I still need the internet at my house on Sunday because I was just going to leave my computer at my old house. Like, leave it at the old house.
Now, Mike, tell everybody what you said to them. Why do you need the internet?
Yeah. I kind of didn't know what to... Like, you'd be amazed how many people don't really know what a podcast is. And I kind of fumbled my words. And Hazel was next to me and took the piss out of me and instantly told these guys what I said. I was just on there. Didn't really know what to say. I was like, oh, I need the internet because I have an internet project on Sunday.
You couldn't have just said, I work from home and need the internet.
No, I didn't. I wasn't thinking. Anyway, so I said to him, I still need the internet on Sunday for my internet project. And, I don't mind about when the connection gets to the thing, because what they also have as part of my contract is an always online thing where if they can't provide you with a connection, they send you a 4G hub to use in your house. So I said, right, can I also organise that for next week? So I've got it in my old house. And she was like, well, your connection takes like 5 working days to come off anyway, so that will take you to Monday. Great. And now I'll organise this hub to get to you for your new house. Great. We were sat there watching TV, watching some Netflix. An hour later, my hub just stops receiving any kind of internet whatsoever, and everything goes down. And I rang them up and they're like, "Oh yeah, the person you last spoke to has cancelled your entire contract."
What?
Brilliant.
I was like, okay, brilliant. Can you put that back on, please? Okay, I'll look into it. Right, contract's back on. Unfortunately, because the connection has been taken off of this house, it now takes 5 working days to get that connected again. So you will not have the internet at your old house until Monday, which you said you wanted it till Monday anyway, so it's pointless. I was like, great. So can you please send me the 4G hub? She said, yep, be there in 2 days. Rang them 2 days later. Hello, my hub's not here. Oh, okay, let me have a look. Oh, there wasn't one ever ordered for you. Okay, well, can we do it again? Okay, it'll be there in 2 days. Rang them up 2 days later. Hello, where's my 4G hub? There's not one been ordered for you. Okay. So we asked them again. They said, oh, it'll be like, we'll try and get it to you a bit earlier. So we've been on the phone with them again yesterday, and they're like, yep, there's not one been ordered for you. So I'm still fucking waiting for this 4G hub because my new house isn't fully connected to the line yet for me to, like, for them to actually set it up at my new house. So fuck knows what's going on. So I've come round to a buddy's house with all my recording equipment. So big thank you to Tom and Kirsty, who I know Tom listens to the show. Kirsty, you don't. How dare
hi,
you?
Tom, Kirsty.
But yeah, Tom and Kirsty, thank
guys.
you for letting me borrow Tom's
No worries.
game room for recording.
Are you going to have to
Not you,
record there
Tom.
next week too?
Depends if this 4G hub turns up or not. But I am not kidding. We have spent a total of about 9 hours on the phone to BT this week at certain points.
BT.
Bye-bye.
So yeah, fuck you, BT. Fuck you.
I don't think they listen to the show.
They might do. If you work for BT, go up to your boss. I don't care if they're in charge of getting me a 4G hub. But either way, just punch them in the face and say, that's from Mike Tyson. And then don't give any context.
But not the Mike Tyson.
The heavyweight champion of the world.
No, just go up, punch them and say, that's from Mike Tyson.
Oh, well, if it's from Mike Tyson, I guess it's okay.
Is Tom
if you work
frozen
for-
in a murderous stare for everybody else?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, no.
We can still hear you, but you're frozen.
And also, if you work for BT, message us in and tell us if it's shit.
Unfreeze yourself, Tom.
Tom.
I wish I could. I don't know how.
It's quite disconcerting hearing his voice come out from that stare.
I'm sorry.
Take a photo of this and send it to you. To show you how murderous it is. But yeah, we have moved in. There's still a fuckload of like just stuff to do. But
we've made
someone decided joining a podcast full time was a good idea, and here I am having to do a podcast instead of sorting my house out.
we've made the decision to start looking to buy another house too, and God, just starting that process again is daunting.
Tom, look at your WhatsApp.
Alrighty.
That's you're still frozen like that now. Yeah, new house.
Sucks.
Don't do it, Eric.
No, we need to. I got to get out of this place.
Oh, we've got
he's back.
movement.
Oh, there he is. No. Now he's going like 3 frames a second.
Yeah, you're all kind of jumping around on me as well.
No, we're good. You're the one that's
Yeah, well,
not.
pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin.
Forget the next line, sorry.
Yeah, me too. Otherwise, I would've-
Nobody knows the next line. I guarantee you. Everyone knows. Pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. That's a sin.
Yes. It's so true.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Jump around by House of Pain.
All right.
You know that song that there's a me. It's the usual. It's the main melody.
Not sure if Mike's singing or Tom's alarm from several episodes ago.
I also didn't back away from my microphone, so I'm sorry if I just killed someone with that.
I don't think it was
1
too
out of
bad for
5
you.
stars. Mike was loud.
Oh, man. Speaking of fire alarms, when we spent the night in Houston, Christy and I got woken up at 4 in the morning. Well, we were already kind of awake, but the fire alarm started going off in our hotel, and we're like, oh, fuck, this is going to suck, because we had to get on our flight right away. If this is actually an emergency, we have to leave. Who knows how long it's going to take to get our shit out of here, or if we're even going to be able to come back in if the whole goddamn place is going to burn down. And we had just gotten out of the shower, and we're like, you know what? Just fucking get dressed real
Well, at
quick.
least you weren't set on fire because you're wet.
Yeah, exactly. So get dressed, throw all your shit in a suitcase, and let's go. And as soon as Christy got dressed, like, just poke your head out the door to see if anybody else is hurrying out of the building.
See if anyone is on fire.
Yeah. or if you see smoke or anything, like, because if it's not a big issue, like, let's just not rush. Meanwhile, the thing's just blaring in our room. And, oh boy, Tom leaving fucked everything up. She pokes her head out the door and nobody else is doing anything. Like, just seems weird. And she walks out and she's like, it's only coming from our room. And sure enough, we had taken such a hot shower that it set off the fire alarm in our room from the steam. Pissed off all the people in the rooms next to us.
Guarantee there's probably a sign somewhere in that room saying, keep the door shut because it will set off the fire alarm.
If there is, I didn't read it.
Maybe it was written in Texan.
Yeah.
The mythical language of Texan.
It's bigger, it's better.
Steam is bigger in Texas. Is Tom coming back?
I'm here. I keep
It
clicking
looks like
on turn on camera and it just doesn't do anything.
It looks like the GameCube starting up.
I know.
Try pointing it at your knob and see if it works then.
Oh yeah, also our new house. So we don't have any curtains up yet. So we stayed there for the first time last night. And someone's house that backs onto ours, well, not the one that backs onto ours, but like to the side. For some reason at night when all of their garden lights come on, they have one that's like a fucking searchlight that rotates. That's on until like God knows what hours of the morning. Hazel got up in the middle of the night because she thought something was going on. And no, just someone's like light in their garden just like rotates a light around.
Did you feel like you were in Gotham?
Which is going to be fine once we have curtains up. But why the fuck would you have that?
Were you in South Central Phoenix?
I don't know. Hazel thought something was going on. Like, of all the selfish things you could have up.
I don't know. I had to unplug our bug zapper because it's apparently really obnoxious. It sounds like miniature grenades going off every time a bug hits it.
How big are the bugs there? Jesus.
It's just, it's overkill. I mean, this thing is like this big, that tall, huge bulbs in there, and they fly and go. It's great.
Jesus. Hey, I haven't been on the show. I'm coming back to Phoenix.
Woo!
Woo! Book my flights.
So's Tom.
Going on a road trip to Vegas.
Maybe Tom is, if Tom books his flights.
Certain lads' stag do / bachelor party.
Stagler
There's
do.
me. There's me.
Stagler the party.
Stagler.
Single me until then.
Single man. Yeah, we gotta.
I'm sure Kat sees it like that.
That road trip is gonna be fucking crazy.
I hope you like loud, obnoxious singing and piss stubs, because that's what I'll bring.
No, I'm giving you a catheter. We're just gonna hold you down, and I'm shoving a tube up there.
Oh, Jesus.
That just happens to be my fetish.
That's perfect. Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh,
man,
no.
I fell
it's really good.
out. Do it. Don't do it again, please. Please, I'll hold. I'll hold still. Do it.
I don't.
Sorry, that white substance came out. That's just pus.
Oh my
Eric.
God. Too far.
Oh, too far.
I found the
indeed.
line. That's the line.
Yeah.
If you don't think that ejaculating pus is the line, I think you have a problem.
At least I didn't get period on it.
Yeah, this is true. Vagina not being very welcoming of dildo. Daniel.
Or build an island out of children's tears.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a good one.
God, why does Tom never say anything risque?
Jesus, Tom, get with it.
Apart from that time he threw a
Hey,
woman
there
in
he
a
is.
lake.
Oh man, those are some sweet pants, Tom. Where'd you get those?
Thanks, dude.
Where'd you get those? Woo! Oh man, I can smell the freedom from here. Look at
I
that.
smell the Johnson from here.
I say risky things, but just,
Don't say Johnson on this podcast.
Johnson. Yo, stars and bars looking after the Johnson.
How much carry out have you accepted in those pants?
So much. If for context, I am wearing American flag pajamas, and I frequently take Domino's pizza in them. Open the door, the guy looks at me
you
like,
just take
"Fuck?"
pizza to places. Like, just
Hell
shove
yeah.
it down a...
Did anybody say anything? Like, Jesus Christ, you are free.
No, I got on a few funny looks, but all positive, you know.
Good.
No one has a crack at me. It's all right.
That's good.
Do they apologise for the funny looks?
No. Well,
Oh.
if they're true Canadians, yeah. But no, it's other that at me delivering food.
So I only found out
Hard-working immigrants.
Yeah, hardworking immigrants.
I don't know if this is like a thing you guys have discussed on the show before and I've missed it, but I only found out recently there's like an apology act in Canada where if you apologise for something, you can't be instantly charged blame.
Yeah.
Because everyone says sorry so much. They had to put it in law.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that
I
was
didn't
in
know
So,
about that.
so like, you know, in the UK, you know, if like you hit someone with a car and you kind of go sorry, that's almost like accepting blame.
Yeah, same here.
In Canada, because like people apologise
Oh.
so much, there's an apology act that like basically if
Okay.
you say sorry to something immediately, you're not instantly to blame.
Wow.
I learned this recently. Yeah.
Just you say it all the time.
He's knocked over some poor old bint. Just sorry.
Sorry,
I guess
got
it
in my
wasn't
way.
him. I guess it wasn't him. As he speeds off into the distance.
On a horse with a lady on the back.
You won't find me at the lake.
That's the last place you'll find me. With his waders on. Holding a map that says for the lake.
what are you doing? What are you doing to my wife? Why are you putting her in the lake in that body bag? Oh, sorry. No, it's fine. You crack on.
He said sorry.
I really did as well, actually.
Do I dare attempt pour coffee into this cup again?
For fuck's sake. Here we go.
Are your feet near it?
Yeah,
Two minutes,
right, Eric.
Just gotta commit
right.
to it.
Tom was about to explain this. You need to angle the other cup.
Yeah.
Nope.
Exactly.
I did it. That is the only drip. It's like the little
Yeah,
post
but you could
fest
have
drip.
avoided that. Lick it. Lick it.
Oh, that was erotic. I don't like to plug the Patreon too
I
much
feel
because it
sick.
seems like we're trying to sell it. But honestly, if you're into eroticism, pay for the video tier of Patreon just for that moment.
It's worth it.
You get Eric licking things and also looking like a thumb. So
Eric, I like your Mega Man mug.
You like that?
Is it new?
It is. This is from my secret Santa, Mr. Zach Foley.
Oh, Secret Santa.
Oh,
my
Santa!
speaking of that though, like the turnout this year has been incredible.
Oh my
Some of
God.
the pictures have been
These people knocked
fantastic.
it out of the park. It's been incredible. So, yeah, Zach was my secret Santa. He sent me a new Mega Man powered up coffee mug. He sent me Mega Man 2 and 6 on PlayStation 1, the Japanese copies.
Oh, yeah.
Does
And
that mean you've got Mega Man 26 now?
62, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I put them backwards because I wanted the higher number.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah. And then
many.
a really I can't reach it, otherwise I'd show you, but it's on top of my lamp. It's a vinyl marquee of Mega Man that goes above a arcade cabinet. So it's kind of his subtle jab of like, hey, you've been talking about building this fucking arcade cabinet for 2 years, and I'll just build it. Now that I have,
I've literally never heard you mention that.
well,
Me either.
yeah, you have.
But I just assume that Zach Foley is constantly poisoning your mind and trying to get you to buy things.
Well, this is build something, so it's worse. But yeah, that's that was my secret Santa.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't remember any names off the top of my head, but like seeing some of the stuff that people
Some of the
got.
stuff is amazing. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so cool.
One of my favorites is so Phil Gardside, who we mentioned before, who's like making the factory sealed trading cards. He made us a special one for Sarah Irvin, wasn't it? He got,
Yeah.
and yeah, he's done an awesome of that. And then on the back, it has like kind of old school Final Fantasy character versions of us four and stuff. And it's really really cool.
It's
I
really
can't
Neil
wait
Loaded.
to see the whole set of that. I
Yeah.
really can't.
Oh, you finally got your own, didn't you, Dan?
I did, yeah. It's a work in progress, but I've seen the concept.
I haven't seen mine.
The savior of the shore card is coming together.
wild card.
Did you see? You guys saw the coffee mug that Stephanie made for Zach, right? The Happenings editor in chief, and
Editor in chief.
put his head on this guy walking a sheep on a leash.
When Zach inevitably comes on the show again, he has to be using that. It's
Oh
the
God,
law.
yes.
It's Brannigan's law.
But no, I think what's really cool about it is the amount of sleuthing that everybody does to figure out what other people like and have and don't have. It seems like everybody has gotten something like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah. Definitely.
And of course, Juliet sent her Secret Santa a bunch of baking. So, God damn it, I'm jealous.
Oh wow, yeah, that is.
Oh yeah, the
didn't realise
baking
that.
was good.
Julia, I'm not saying that you have to bake stuff and send it to Phoenix when me and Tom are there, but
it'd be cheaper than sending it to England.
Just saying.
no pressure.
Tom, have you sent
That
out
would be
yours yet?
I did. I sent it on I think it was like the 12th of December, but it's from the Netherlands. So take a wee while to get to the States.
A wee bit of time.
But it will get there.
Excellent.
And it's sure nice. It's nice.
Have you gotten yours yet?
No, I need to pick it up from the old mailman.
What?
Sometimes if you're not home, it goes to a distribution center. You got take your wheels down there and then give your card over, pay $20 duty, and then just take it home from there.
Well, see, that's why when you send stuff overseas or over a border, you got to mark it as a gift.
You do. I got to pay duty for whatever reason. It's marked as goods and services.
There's a hand job in that box, isn't there?
Just a flashlight.
That's a good present, to be fair.
I mean, it is a goods and a service. So
Not used,
Yeah,
though.
not a very good used market
don't
for those.
I think, though, it's quite as good as the present I received off of one Eric Peterson in the break between shows.
Oh, yes. Yes. What did you get?
I'm afraid I don't have it accessible because it was behind me at the start of the show and has since fell off the wall. But Eric sent me the very first authentic Eric's head blanket, which is ridiculously, obnoxiously large.
I'm so sorry.
Has the classic disturbing Eric.png image in the middle. And is framed by all of the Eric's head pictures on box art that I have done over the year. Around the edges. It is hands down one of the most terrifying and hilarious things I've ever seen in my life.
I had so much fun making that.
I sent a message to you guys on WhatsApp. Imagine the poor bastard who had to make that when he received your artwork. What is this?
Oh, my God.
Oh,
I love it.
So, Dan, walk us through when you first opened it, because you didn't. I told you not to open it until the
Yeah.
show, but
yeah, he did the Hazel technique of opening.
what's
opening posts.
this? Oh,
I had a load of Christmas presents ordered as well, so I
Oh,
didn't know
yeah, I
what was
suppose
what.
I should have put like Danielle Curtis or something, so it would have tipped you off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then if it had to go to collect it from the post office, they wouldn't have given it to him.
Oh,
Hazel always this favorite news story of Hazel's from a few years ago was when this old lady had ordered her cat a cat advent calendar, and she ordered it in the cat's name, and she had to pick it up from the post office, but because there was no one of the cat's name, she couldn't pick it up.
oh my God!
When I say favorite news story, like she wasn't because she was enjoying this woman having a miserable time. The cat did eventually get his advent calendar, so don't worry.
Oh, I was
But he
worried.
couldn't
Would
get it
that-
originally.
So when I sent
Would
you
that
that
also
package
work?
titled to Mike the Hair Tyson, does stuff like that affect your pickup ability?
Nah, because it has Mike Tyson. So
Yeah, the hair
That's
is okay. But
yeah.
if I sent a package to Phoenix to Ratchet Peterson, would it get...
It
and
would
you
show
weren't
up,
in?
yeah.
But what if you weren't at home and you had to pick it up from somewhere and they were
Because
like,
they leave
ID,
a little
please.
slip. They leave a little pink slip that's got the number on it. And
Oh,
as
okay.
long
Yeah,
as
they-
my
Over here,
address,
they do that here,
you
but you
need
still
that
need ID.
and an ID.
Yeah, you need both the slip and the ID.
yeah, but if the ID has the address that matches, all right, fucking whatever. I'll be like, that's my cat.
If you get somebody nice at the post office, sometimes they'll do it, but
yeah.
Yeah.
it should be the person's name.
Okay, they're good. So my package to
See, what you
Ratchet
could
should
do
get there,
is you
right?
could then go Ratchet Peterson, CO, Eric. But my cat doesn't
Yeah,
have
you
a
could
last
do
name.
that,
His
yeah.
last name is The Sauce. Ratchet the Sauce. It's the sauce.
Just saucing.
Just saucing, man. That cat can just sauce it.
Anyway, Daniel, the quilt.
Carry on.
Yeah, so I got in from work. As I said, I thought it was another Christmas gift, so I opened it, not really expecting what was happening. I was like, "What is this?" And I opened it up, and I think one of the first things I saw was Eric's teeth on the blanket. I was like, "I know what this is." I unfurled it all, and there in all its glory was the head, and the blanket was just not stopping. It was getting bigger and bigger.
Oh my God.
I had no idea how big
huge.
it was.
Yeah.
You sent me the size, and you
Yeah,
went, that
you
should
sent-
be big enough, shouldn't it? I was like, yeah, that should be all right.
I said
and
the
even
same
I didn't
thing.
expect it to be so big.
I thought it was going to be, I don't know, like a small rug.
I had a hard time conceptualizing that, but that's big.
It would make a cracking rug, actually, because it's not a very thick blanket, so it's not really good for warmth. But
No,
the
but it's like
size, it would be a good rug.
It's great for if you're just a bit chilly in your game room and you just need something on your lap for that extra bit of cozy.
Yeah. Or you could use it as your like little VR mat.
Yeah. Or,
Yeah.
hold on, a mat for Wreckfest.
Oh yeah, I've already done that.
Oh,
Hold on, you said I went I crossed the line the other day, Eric. So don't you start.
What? We're just talking about playing
It's a serious-
Wreckfest on my
It's a serious
face.
aphrodisiac in the head, so I just chucked it on the bed.
What was Crystal's response?
She said that is hideous.
hideous.
I agree.
Did you have to do quite a bit of explaining?
No, not really. He just said, so over the last few months I've been photoshopping Eric's head on different things while I'm meant to be working. And she's like, okay, that's fine.
All right, whatever. You're weird.
Brilliant.
Yeah, she's long since accepted this.
Oh man, I can't wait to meet her. Hey, it's me from the blanket.
Eurydius?
Yuri.
Oh God, that's going to be such a weird day.
Yeah, it is.
Like, because I generally think that like Kat, Christy, and Hazel are kind of like they probably know more about the show than Crystal does. Like Crystal's kind of like, oh, Dan's going to go do his thing.
Yeah.
Like to kind of have like the whole group of us together, and then also like the three ladies that I mean, obviously Tom and Kat are going to be on the top table anyway, but like that, like that all of us together, and those three kind of understand. But Crystal's just it's going to be like culture shock for her, I think.
Christy'll chitter chatter away. She'll be fine.
Do you think she'll get Crystal's accent?
No. She couldn't
'cause-
understand. She couldn't understand me, so there is no
I was gonna
hope
say-
at all.
I'm just gonna.
Well, she struggled to understand me.
I'm gonna have Christy practice her. What?
What?
So yeah, that's our Secret Santa. I know that there's still some people who haven't sent it out yet. So if you haven't, get it out,
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
and then send your package out. What you guys been playing this week? 2-3 weeks.
Oh
Son.
God, I put it out on the Facebook community. I going through my pre-Christmas slump
I
where
have
I don't
too.
really know what I want to play, which does my head in really because I've got thousands of games
So-
really probably.
When I went through the same thing again. I know I've talked about this before, but anytime I have a flight, I have all these grandiose ambitions of playing through like an RPG or something. And I get on the plane and go, I'm just gonna fucking stare at the seat in front of me and do nothing. Like I have zero ambition when I get on a plane because I pounded through Resident Evil 4 prior to the vacations. It's like I could play an RPG or just something a little bit more casual. I haven't touched
Which I
it.
found funny. Sorry to interrupt. I found it funny because you started Resident Evil 4 on your PlayStation, and you're like, "Oh, I'll get it on Switch so I can play it on vacation."
Yep, finished it
And
beforehand.
then you just pounded through it anyway.
We'll get to
He's
that.
got ready for Switch when he wants to play it again.
Yeah, we'll get it. But yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Dan. Like I've got all the time in the world right now. All of my accounts have shut down. It's like I just don't have anything I want to play.
No. It was completely different for me. I actually rolled the credits on like 3 or 4 different games.
Did you beat Death Stranding yet?
I beat Death Stranding. I beat A Plague Tale: Innocence.
Yes!
I beat Neocab, and I beat obviously the game of the week, and I beat Blood and Truth as well.
Oh shit! The
So,
bedtime. You have
Wow,
been.
you've been busy, Tom.
I think
I've
you
been
beat
busy.
more games in the past 3
Solid
weeks
afternoon for Dan. That
than you have for the show all year.
Listen to that guy.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I got the jokes over here.
sounds just like me.
Yeah, I'm off work now, so I'm just, when we're having a quiet Christmas, so it's a good time to play games, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that 2 weeks off, man. 2
Yeah.
weeks off.
Shut the fuck up.
It's like
No,
14
the river
consecutive
over here.
Fridays for Dan.
God, I'll get through all my Christmas games within the day, and then I'll be back in the same boat with nothing to play again.
Shut What the fuck?
Well, you get to take your games with you at work and sit in your truck.
Yeah, no, I guess I
True.
do. But yeah, I
And
don't
now-
get time off over Christmas. I only have like Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and New Year's Day off. That's all I get off. But the rest of it, if it's anything like last year, my days will be super short. But I have just moved into my own house for the first time, so I've got fuckloads to do. So not much time for gaming at the moment.
Yeah.
I haven't played Death Stranding in about 2 weeks, which is
Sinner.
Yeah.
so.
You do
Yeah,
realize
still
that there's
not
going to come a
finished.
point when we're going to start talking about it in the chat, and spoilers are going to be fair game.
No.
Oh, okay.
I
When you put it that
No,
way.
I'm not going to let you. No,
And
I do want to crack on with it. Like, Hazel's usually pretty good. Where like, if we've got stuff to do, if I say to her, "Look, can I put just like these? I want like kind of that afternoon aside just to kind of play some games." And she's normally pretty good at that, so I will get a chance to play some stuff. So, yeah, she's understanding. But yeah, I since last time I was on, it's mainly been Resi 4 for the show. Pokemon Sword and Shield. Well, Pokemon Shield I'm playing,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I am really enjoying.
I haven't
Yeah,
touched
but-
it in 3
Actually-
weeks.
I keep jumping into that in the evening, you know, every now and again. Do a few trainer battles, catch a few pokes.
Poke.
You know, it's
Little
good.
Pokemans.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
No,
I have been
I'm actually
playing,
solidly enjoying it, considering I wasn't too sold on it before it came out, and I kind of got it on a whim.
Yeah.
I just
Which 14
Yeah, it's
games
actually
have
good.
you beaten last week, Dan?
I have beaten Batman Arkham Oranges. And
You're playing
Warren,
Arkham
Is
City
is that
now,
the
aren't
sequel
you?
to I Am Satsuma?
And yes, I am playing Arkham City now. So this year, right, I've played
Arkham
I played
Celery.
Batman. I played Arkham Knight months ago. Then we played
Arkham
Arkham
Onion
Asylum
Knight.
for the show. Then I played Oranges, and now I'm playing City.
Strange Order.
Yes.
Now, you should
but
play...
I can confirm that City is still the best.
Yeah, I've been playing a bit of City as well on PC. That is a really
You know
good
what?
game.
You know what? I did really enjoy Oranges, but compared to the others, it is janky as hell. I didn't notice the first time I played it, but if you play that, then City back to back, City is so much better.
Yeah, it's a bit rough around the edges, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All oranges.
Just in terms
Which
of
is
the
ironic,
texture
'cause
work,
an
how
orange
the
is
fights
generally
flow,
smooth.
Dan,
Didn't get a word of that, but okay.
have you not played the old Arkham Origins Blackgate on 3DS /
I've
Vita?
never played that. No, I was watching a YouTube of it the other day, though.
Dan watching
Yeah.
a game on YouTube?
Yeah, because I don't own a Vita.
You own a 3DS though.
I
Probably.
do have a 3DS. You're right.
Yeah, it's like 2.5D bat person,
Person bat?
man bat.
Man bat.
Man bat. Yeah, I don't know if it's particularly great, but if you're a big fan of Man Bat, maybe it's enough, you know, to satisfy
it's based on
satisfy that
oranges,
superhero
so-
taste.
I haven't ever seen a copy of it anywhere, so.
Yeah. Well,
Can't
you
see
looked?
it don't exist.
I'm now playing through Resident Evil 2 remake, trying to finish that for the year.
Yes.
I've kind of had
I'm
a
really
hankering to
enjoying
go
it.
back through the B side of that.
I'm terrified all the time because Mr. X is always there.
No, X gonna give it
I think
to
if
you.
I were to go back, to that after playing Resi 4, I'd be really, I would struggle quite heavily with the lack of ammo.
Yeah. Oh my god, ammo is so scarce. I'm very careful, but all the same, it's
I'm
tough.
not. I am not.
The other
What
day,
you want to do is just shoot his hat off and then don't shoot him again.
Because then he's
Yeah.
got to go pick it up, and he goes, "That's my favorite hat.
I wish
he
he did
does
do
it.
There's
that.
a hole in this.
I gotta
wish
go
he
to the
did.
hat
I
store."
didn't know Mr. X was slightly effeminate and southern.
Gotta
doesn't
go all
talk.
the way back to the hat store.
He's very self-conscious of his voice. He has a persona that he likes to put out, but his voice just doesn't match it.
Catherine got a bit annoyed at me yesterday because I actually screamed out loud 3 times while playing it. Because I'd just be running and then suddenly he was around the corner. I just totally didn't expect it.
Did she criticize your lack of strategy whilst gaming? Because that's what she was doing when I was playing it, criticizing yours.
She always does that.
So when I was playing Resident
Why
2
don't you
at Eric's
just
when we were in
blank?
Phoenix,
Here, you do it.
I was like using the map all the time, like going, right, I'm going to go here. And she was there going, Tom never does this. This is great. Like, he never ever does this. Like, I like how you're using the map and deciding where you're going stuff. Tom never does this.
She would not want to watch me play games then. Oh, buddy.
Look, I just press forward and whichever door is open is the one I'm going through.
Oh, mate, I'm going to have to show her me playing games. She'll be amazed.
Blinky,
Yeah, but
you'll
if she
miss it.
blinks, she'll miss it. She'll blink and there's the
If
credits.
the door's locked,
This is
I just
true.
keep shooting it until it opens.
Yeah, or just keep pressing X because maybe it's an Easter egg and you got to press it 876 times to pop it open, and there could be a room full of bullets back there.
The door is locked. It's got a heart-shaped key.
The door's locked, got a heart-shaped key. Okay, so I'm going to go kill this person, and I'm going to rip out their heart and stuff it in the door. Heart-shaped key. Not working. Game's broken.
The clue is bullet for my Valentine.
Yeah,
Tom.
That was a good one. That was good.
Tom, how you've got your trousers, it looks like Toad's peeking up from underneath your feet. It looks like you're being sucked off by Toad.
Edge me, Toad. Edge me.
Jesus Christ, can you stop?
Why does he sound like the chickens from Stranger's Wrath? Oh, smooth one!
Stop quitting to Yoda a little bit.
It's my sickness. It's my plagas.
From the chandelier.
Did you guys listen to Toad sings "All I Want for Christmas Is You"?
Yes.
Yes.
There's a few
that
of
was
these
a special
now.
time.
Nothing will ever beat Chandelier.
Do you know, I feel sorry for whoever that person's neighbours are.
I'm going to assume nobody.
Fingers crossed.
Oh,
I wonder if it's that guy with that rotating light behind me.
Oh, yeah.
We'll find out.
guys,
Yeah.
Hello.
there's a couple new Beat Saber updates.
Oh, I bought the Green Day pack.
See, I was on the fence
did
about
I.
that.
Yeah.
Is it any good?
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's all right. It's okay.
Sorry.
I actually don't know if it's as good as the other packs. To be honest, totally honest with you, I'm not that keen in general on the packs that are just one band
Yeah.
or one
Yeah,
artist.
but Tom,
Me either. There's none that I actually like, bands that I actually love that have came out yet. So I mean, I've bought every single DLC pack for that
the
game.
Imagine
but-
Dragons pack has really grown on me.
See,
Yeah, I
couldn't
like
get
Imagine
into
Dragons.
it.
I quite
Just
like
the
you
songs
get quite
are
a lot
fun.
with that as well. You get seven songs, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's,
songs.
unfortunately it's 7 Imagine Dragons songs.
It could be worse. It could be
downside.
Mumford and Sons.
I'm actually indifferent about Imagine Dragons. I take them or leave them. I don't really. I'm not
See,
really
if they did-
stating them.
But
See, if
aside
they
from the Green Day pack, though, they've released on PlayStation VR 90-degree levels, but on Oculus Quest 360-degree levels.
Is
And,
that Celsius or Fahrenheit?
I think it's Kelvin.
Okay.
Pixels.
Yeah. Let me tell you what. 360 levels change it completely. It like Oculus Quest is the now definitive way to play that game.
They change your perspective.
Yeah, 360 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
great. So the way it works, at least for the 90-degree levels, is... You all right, Mike?
Thanks, Mike.
I got you back, Tom. I got you back. Always got you back.
Normal Beat Saber, the blocks are coming straight at you. But on the 90-degree levels, you've got... Is it 2 tracks, one on either side of you? It's for a total of 3 tracks?
yeah.
So then...
So that you've got an angle of 90 degrees, yeah?
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
But they're not...
Sounds so
It's
good.
not
Fahrenheit.
technically 90 degrees. It's more like 45 degrees to the left,
60
45
Celsius.
degrees to the right. But
Yeah.
90 degrees.
what'll happen is you've got these white lines on the ground indicating the 2 rows for each of the blocks. And as one is coming towards you from the left, that row will light up to let you know, hey, it's about time to turn. But then, you're just bouncing back and forth between them. But 360 is even more intense. You'll never have them coming from directly
Is it
behind
360 degrees around?
you. It's actually on the other axis, your Z axis.
So you got
You got to do somersaults.
Do some.
And it's Xbox 360s flying at you.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake, man. Oh, God.
The dude
It gets
takes
worse.
nothing serious.
Sorry. No, it does sound cool though. You're the one who just said you have to do front flips and back flips to. The old Jedi training comes in.
So my only complaint about the 360 levels so far is that you can't choose the difficulty. It's just whatever they've assigned to that song.
Agreed.
And
try Overkill. Jesus Christ.
I got through about the first. They have Overkill on 360, and I got through about the first 40 seconds of it, but it's only Expert Plus.
Yeah, it's the bit where it really kicks in. That's where it's impossible.
I got up through Build the Wall. And just kept failing. But yeah, it probably took me a day before I could beat any of the 360 levels on Expert. And tell you what, now that I can do that and understand it, it's so much fun. Because
the 90-degree ones are really cool, actually. It just it's a whole new skill to learn because you're so used to them coming straight at you. But the way they've made them, I don't know if this is true of the 360 levels, but it's a natural progression round.
Yeah.
So it and the notes will move to the right, and then you hit them to the right, and then occasionally one will throw itself to the left randomly, but it's
what's really
makes
cool,
you move in such a way so you can get them.
Yeah, what's really cool is you'll have a block coming from the left that requires your right hand, and then from the middle that requires your left, so you have to be conscious of where your sabers are so you don't accidentally cut through the wrong block. It's a neat little addition to it.
So because I've not played, I never got the Imagine Dragons pack, and obviously I only own a PSVR, so I've never had any of the kind of quote unquote pop songs or studio tracks of like songs like proper songs, so to speak. How do they kind of translate like the Green Day and Imagine Dragons and stuff?
Oh, they're
good.
Fine. They work perfectly.
Because generally, a lot. I know there is vocals and stuff on the Beat Saber soundtrack, but a lot of it is kind of very sort of beat based and almost kind of dance music based, isn't it? So
they do work really well, and they're quite
my chav music of Crystal's here when she.
they're pretty polished, and they also thematically mix everything with the band, like the band's logos there, and there's all the right colors, and it's sort of like quite an immersive experience. I think they might, I don't know if this is true, but they might even work with the artist a little bit on how they want the song to be.
Well, they had Green
portrayed.
Day on at the Music Awards, didn't they? So
yeah,
for the announcement.
My concern would be them just doing the blocks to the vocal melody, which would be very interesting.
Oh
it's to the beat of the track.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
I would much prefer it for Beat Saber if they had done it like Rock Band, where you could download songs.
That would be amazing.
Like willy-nilly, whenever you want them.
Just single tracks for like a quid or something.
You could do music packs, but also have more of a selection.
Well, I'm just glad to see that they're still updating this a year and a half down the road, or a year down the road too.
It's still a huge game. I think it won VR.
It did. It won Best VR game. Yeah.
So
I don't know.
But they don't have the money behind them that Harmonix had to get the Rock Band store behind them. And obviously, it's not as universally as accessible as Rock Band was, because Rock Band you could just add it to any console you have, whereas you have to have the VR unit, don't you, in some way, shape, or form.
But talk to anyone who owns VR, and they're going to say Beat Saber is a definitive experience.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
it is the VR game, isn't it? And anyone I speak to, like, some friends of mine visited last year, and we ended up playing Beat Saber, but they didn't realize I had a VR setup, and it came up in conversation, and my buddy was like, "Oh yeah, really want to get some sort of VR for my PC because I just really, really want to play Beat Saber." And that is the game, even if you're not really into VR, that is the game you end up hearing of. You hear of Beat Saber, and you see people playing it, and it's the one that hits the mainstream. Like some of the Saturday night chat shows in America, they have like the celebrities playing it and stuff, don't they? So it's kind of hit the mainstream in that aspect, and
which is incredible.
It looks so more to a casual user. It looks so much more accessible as a rhythm game to something like, say, Rock Band or Guitar Hero, where you do have to still learn the controller with that.
Yeah.
Whereas with Beat Saber, you're just using your body, aren't you?
One of our really good friends who's never played video games in her life into it. She comes over once a week to hang out, and we always end up playing Beat Saber, and she loves it. And she's watching her get progressively better, going from starting on easy to normal, and now she's up to doing all the songs on hard. And she's never played games before. And
the thing is with Beat Saber, it looks cool when you watch it on a video, but when you get in the headset for the first time, that is when it hits.
And
you.
that's my one complaint with the Oculus Quest. It is phenomenal to play by yourself, but they have not figured out the casting in a way that makes it not shit to watch. So
Such a shame.
You can cast it to an iPad or a Chromecast or a TV or a phone, but it's always lagging. And if I want to cast it to my TV and have it come through the stereo, the audio will be a half a second behind. So we have to mute that, and anybody who's watching has to listen through my headset. And it just kind of removes them from the experience a little bit.
That's a real shame.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've been playing Stadia.
I know. But yeah, that's Beat Saber. Oh, they also released
Mike loved that laggy gaming.
They also
yeah.
released the finger tracking update for the Oculus, and boy, oh boy, is that fucking cool! No games that I
That's the next thing VR needs.
no games that I know of support it, but being able to manipulate the UI just using your fingers is incredible.
Oh,
Can you not get
So-
Boneworks for Quest?
You can. So Quest just released another update that you can get a link cable. So it's a high-speed USB-C link cable that goes from your PC to the Quest, and it allows you to utilize your computer to process all the hardware and play Rift games. That cable is $80. And I'm not
Wow.
sure I want to pull the trigger on that one quite yet, but
I don't know. Boneworks looks incredible.
Boneworks
That's still
does.
cheaper than like getting yourself a Rift, though, isn't it? If you've already got the Quest. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen you spend more money on more useless shit than that.
Yes, me too.
How long did you put off buying new Joy-Cons for?
3 years? Yeah, 2.5 years.
Who needs it when you've got a Pro controller? Am I right?
Yeah.
now you're talking our language.
He's coming around, see? But yeah, Boneworks looks fucking cool.
It does.
What
And
is
so does
Boneworks?
the new Half-Life game as well. I really want that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Alex. Is that what it's called,
Yep.
Alex?
No, his name's Dan.
Yeah, I think
L.
I honestly think Quest is the future of VR, just in terms of having the headset tracking everything instead of having
It'll be
sensors set
interesting
up.
to see what PlayStation does with theirs if it's wireless.
I think they have to go
It
wireless.
has to.
Even
Yeah.
if they... I wouldn't be angry if they still created a separate hub. You know, it doesn't have to be inside. It'd be nice if it's all inside the PS5 already. But even if they still have to create a separate hub that connects the PS5 and then it's wireless to that, I don't care. It needs to be wireless, I think.
Yeah, and it has to be 360 degree of movement, because if you stop it in just your 180 field of view,
Oh, yeah, they need to lose the camera.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh
If
yeah.
they can combine the technology of the...
I guess I would be fine.
Is it IR it uses, the Quest? Is
No.
it IR? Am I using
yeah,
it?
yeah.
No, it's,
Quest uses
Yeah,
IR.
it uses IR. It's the thing. If they can incorporate that into that, but then it will also technically be light. If they can do it so it's just literally a Bluetooth signal from the hub to there, rather than all of the gubbins necessarily being in the headset, surely that's going to end up getting rid of a lot of weight and everything that you need to have in the headset. I mean, I've not worn a Quest. I don't know if they're heavy or not, but
They're a little
you're
heavy.
You're removing a lot of the gubbins from that and putting it in a hub that's on the... oh, did we lose Tom again? You're losing all of that, and it's going into something that connects to the PlayStation or is already in the PlayStation. I'm surely that's going to be...
I would be fine
better
if they
experience.
went the route of the Rift and gave you 2 sensors to put in the corners of your room. I would be fine with that.
You are, but I don't think a lot of people are. I think the sort of common market people are.
It needs
they
to be
want
as
steer away
accessible
from
as
that.
it can.
Well, I tell you what, though,
Okay.
the one complaint that I do have about the Quest, though, is that sometimes the tracking does feel a little off, because it is directly right there in front of you. And if you're making really wide movements, sometimes it can lose that. It is really good about coming back, but having those sensors in the corners of the room eliminate that 100%. So,
But that is the biggest turnoff for a lot of people when it comes to VR sets. Like, they don't want to do all the setting up of like sensors in the corners and stuff. That's why, PSVR is helpful because everyone has the console already. You just hook it up to it. But you know, the ease of setting it up is there. Whereas, like, if you say to someone who, even if they have a PC, and you say, "Oh, you got to set up all these sensors around your room and all that," even if it's just 2 of them, it turns people off.
Well,
They want it as accessible as possible.
what Quest has done is they've proven that on headset tracking is the way to go, and it opens it up to a whole new direction.
Yeah, 360.
Yeah.
Is that in Celsius Fahrenheit?
We
I'm looking forward to the future of VR. I want to see what happens next. It's
Yeah.
going to be exciting.
No.
See if Alex comes to the PSVR 2.
I don't think it will.
No way. That'll be
No.
Steam exclusive.
It's a Valve, yeah.
Yeah, that's Valve.
Bastards.
I hope it's
Sorry,
not a Valve
Sandy Gag.
Index exclusive, because fuck that.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be a timed exclusive on Valve Index.
Who knows?
Timed exclusive. World premiere.
Do you think Xbox is going to dive into the VR world at all?
Nah.
No, they said they're not going.
You don't
to.
think the
And
new
they got
Xbox...
their HoloLens?
You
No,
don't
they
think
said they're not. They said they're not doing it.
the Xbox Sex is not going to support VR?
No, I don't think so. I think in terms of console VR, I think PSVR has been a success, but I think they've got the market cornered. I think it's pointless.
I'm sure Phil
unless
Spencer
you're including
literally came
Labo
out and said
VR.
he's not going to do it. So
You know who the black sheep of the VR world is the Nintendo Lavo. Breath of
Google
the Wild in
Daydream.
VR, that is
You look up a duck's butt.
awe-inspiring.
I forgot about that.
I've
Yeah.
always wanted to look up a duck's butt.
I wouldn't bother. It's not what it's quacked up to be.
And with that, the show is over. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Eric, write another note. Put music in. Again. Here he goes.
154.31.
Put music in again.
Dan's duck butt joke sucked. Put in music.
I was happy with that one, you bastard.
Right there. You
By the way,
got
just
it.
put the music in for like 3 seconds so people just don't automatically turn off, by the way.
That was bad.
Boy, that was a show. Didn't even get to the game of the week. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Xbox. New console revealed.
Yeah, and it's just called Xbox. These
Yeah,
people just
the
can't
Xbox.
figure out their naming conventions.
The Xbox Sex. No, but did you
Yeah,
hear their...
the PlayStation's got it quite right, I think. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, many.
What happens when you go past that? Is it the many one, the many two, the many three, and then the many?
Yes, that's
Oh.
correct.
Okay.
No, the Xbox Series X. I like it. I like the look of it.
It does look cool. It looks like a signal
Like
repeater.
a mini
You know
ATX
what,
PC.
I really don't like it. I think it looks boring.
You want that
Yeah.
goddamn thing that looks like a spaceship.
really- You
It
know
looks
what?
like a cube of black. That is just all it is.
I don't care what it looks like. If it plays good games, I don't give a shit. Now,
What if they don't got no
One
good
thing-
games?
One thing I will say, I was at a friend's last night, and I was like, "What? Oh, what? I don't recognize that console. What is it?"
The Ouya.
And then I looked closely. I realized I just hadn't seen a base PS4 for quite a while, and I've decided that the base PS4 is actually better looking than the Pro. So
Yeah, it
Not
doesn't
if
look
you
like
have
a
the
stack of
sexy
pancakes.
white one like mine.
I
your
forgot about the white one.
sexy.
The sexy white PS4 Pro is nice.
I
But
tried
I
to-
like the
sexy,
light on
you'd say.
the base one. The orange or the blue light runs all the way across, which is pretty nice, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
You guys can disagree, but you're wrong.
Was it an OG or was it one of the Slims? Because I've never seen one of the Slims in the wild.
OG, son.
I still have my OG
I still-
PS4.
It's a nice PS4. It's a nice
Too.
console.
It's still going strong.
Yeah.
Dan's
He
going to
said.
upgrade to the Pro when the 5 comes out.
He's
Should
going to
be
wait for
giving
the
it-
Pro on
Don't
PS4.
see the
It's a
point of the
5
5
on
when they
PS
got the
Plus, yeah.
PS4 Pro.
This one has Pro after it.
This one's
You know
forward
it's
compatible.
Fuck you. I'll see a marked increase in graphical fidelity when I get the 5, and you guys just like.
I mean, we
see it.
all are going to, really.
Yes, but I will even more.
Yeah, that's true.
Screw you. Next gen upgrade for me. You guys are just mid-generation numpties.
True, we might not see much. Oh, he's got a point.
God damn it. Don't tell him that, Tom.
I'm thankful.
I'm waiting
thankful
for that
the PS4
experience
Pro.
when I upgraded my Xbox 360 to HD TV and it like blew my mind. That's what I want.
Oh, I remember doing that. I remember I ran my Xbox 360 on an SD connection for a while.
I ran mine through my CRT, and then I had it hooked up to a computer monitor for a while, and getting it on an
Trying to
actual
play
TV.
trying to play Dead Rising and not being able to read anything that's going on.
Yeah,
that was
Fallout
fun.
3.
Storyline
Fallout
happens
3
to other
was-
people, kill zombies.
I remember when I think I said this on the Dead Space show, but when I was playing, it's either Dead Space 1 or 2, and my TV was fucked, and I had to send it back because it was under warranty, and I had to go back to a CRT for a bit, and you couldn't actually, he pulls up the menu on his arm, you literally couldn't read it on a standard definition TV. Just couldn't read any of the menu at all.
Hey, we're spoiled nowadays, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose we are. But obviously they have kind of spoken about specs before, so the console reveal was just, this is what the box looks like, but I kind of like it. But the bigger news for me was that Hellblade's getting a sequel.
Oh, I still need to play through the first
And
one. Maybe that's what I'll play on
as
break.
well.
The trailer showed no gameplay whatsoever. It was just kind of a cutscene thing, but they've basically revealed that everything in that cutscene that they did is in-engine.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous. She looks angry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Does she still look
angry,
like? Does she still look kind of
chanting and
derpy?
Sorry?
What? Does she still look kind of derpy?
Did she look derpy before?
Yeah, she kind of looks a little derpy.
The girl's got mental health problems, Eric. You can't say things like that.
She looks derpy.
I don't agree, but
No.
I'm excited.
I'm gonna just
spoiler
search-
for next week's show. Hellblade was one of the best games I played this past year, so I'm very excited for a
Well,
sequel.
there's no point doing it now, mate. Well done.
I
Jesus
said
Christ.
one of.
Well, that's one spoiled.
All right, well, I'll make a list of 11 then.
That's not allowed.
then you can have 10 of them that'll still be a surprise. She doesn't. Leave her alone. Leave Senua alone.
Look at all these pictures where she looks derpy.
She doesn't look derpy. No, she
Look at
doesn't.
the day.
No.
Look at that.
Leave her alone.
Is she? Every one of those.
Those are just unfortunate pictures, like
If you liked Hellblade Senua's
Senua's Sacrifice.
Sacrifice, that's the one.
Yeah.
Then but these are like pictures that have been taken at points where she's moving. Like these are like cutscenes. They're still some
Yeah.
cutscenes.
So?
If you take a still of me whilst I'm talking and doing stuff, I look like that.
It looks like Eric's head blanket.
This is literally if you take anyone who's like motion video and stuff like that, whether it's real life or
Eric was
computer
standing still
generated
for
like
that photo.
I can keep going, or should I stop?
Just stop. Everybody tweet at Honest Pizza and say stop.
Don't,
Not
because
that
I
he
won't
ever
see
uses
it.
that ever.
I don't know if Eric uses his Twitter still, but do it.
I don't. I don't want Star Wars ruined for me.
Oh, yeah, fair.
You don't even understand Star Wars.
There's a war
You don't even.
in the stars. Star Wars.
They were going to call it Space Wars, weren't they?
Yeah.
Space battles.
Isn't it one war in amongst a bunch of stars? So shouldn't it be called Stars War?
And no, there have been multiple wars throughout.
Yeah, but it isn't all kind of like the continuation of one war.
No.
So it should
Have
be
you been
Stars
enjoying
Wars.
It's called the Skywalker Saga, actually.
Have you been enjoying watching Baby Yoda?
Oh, Mandalorian.
Yeah, Baby Yoda.
Mandalorian is so good.
Best. Oh, did you get Disney
enjoy?
Plus working
Did you enjoy
properly?
Baby Yoda the most with our theme music, Mike?
Yes.
I got to that part in the show. I'm like, oh, I wish this were Dan's edit. It is good. There are parts that there are a few parts that are kind of hokey. Like Chapter 6 is real dumb. It's real Star Trek-y, and it just kind of feels shoehorned in. But the rest of it's really good.
Yeah, there's been a bit of filler. Considering it's only an 8-episode season, there has been quite a lot of filler.
Yeah.
You know, like when you watch like a 24-episode long Netflix series and like there's that section in the middle where there's a load of fucking just filler episodes that are usually like a character's past
Yes.
and stuff like that. They've used
You're
it.
talking
It's
about
weird.
all of The Walking Dead.
with Walking Dead season 2.
Oh, God. We're on a farm for 18
Where's
episodes.
Sophia? She hasn't been in the barn the entire time. Spoilers for Walking Dead season 2. But
Well, all of The Walking Dead for more series.
I'll be
is just
doing you a
them
favor
walking.
if you want to skip season 2.
I watched that for about 7 series.
Eric,
before I
stop
give
it!
up.
Sorry, Dan, go on. He's still sending pictures.
It's fine. I'm done.
No, what were you saying? Go on.
I said I watched Walking Dead till about series 7, then give up because it's just so boring. So boring.
I gave up after season 4.
The Boring Dead, am I right?
A bloke with an eye patch
Put
turned
the
up.
music
and
on
I
again,
laughed.
Eric.
No, that's not going to become a new thing.
Can you
Can't be for this episode.
Just because he doesn't want to do the edit. That's why.
So much editing
Hey,
to do.
speaking of spoilers for our Game of the Year show, Eric's Game of the Year won Game of the Year at the Game Awards. Stop saying Game of the Year in there, Mike. Okay, I will.
Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Dude, how happy are you, Eric, that finally swept up an award?
Here we go. I'm waiting for more.
Is he frozen? No, he's just gone full derp.
He's senua.
This is a trickle, this is.
So, finest game to have been released in 2019. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice from Software.
Rigged.
From.
From. And
Microphone's all wet now.
yeah, I think. Well, only you and I don't think you've played. Have you, Mike? I've not either.
Yep.
So it's only Dan and Eric who could really weigh in on this. But I think Dan, what do you think of Sekiro
Can
winning?
confirm the Dippy one is full of shite. It's a good game.
There you go, man.
I wouldn't say it's
You've
the
heard
best
it.
in the series of Soulsborne, but
Sure.
I really enjoyed it.
Strong game, strong title.
Yeah, I can see why people voted it best game of the year.
I can't.
You just give up too quickly. You didn't
You're just
learn it enough.
pissy because it was different to what you expected.
No. It was just too hard.
Dan, you played it. Back me up.
He is. You're right. He didn't get, like I said, when Eric stopped at the point where it took me about 80 tries to beat this
Yeah,
boss.
that's not enjoyable. That's
It
just
is
hard.
enjoyable.
No, that's
You
just
It's a
hard
challenge.
for the sake
It's a
of being.
That
challenge.
is when
Get
it
good.
finally clicks. And
No.
But I've always played these games
No.
for the challenge. I mean, across Dark Souls and Bloodborne and all that, I've tried. There's been bosses where it's probably taken me about 30, 40 tries to beat them.
Yeah, and this took you twice
how
as
it
many.
is.
And it comes down to
'Cause it's
dumb luck.
harder.
It comes down to dumb luck.
No, it doesn't. It's
No.
precision and learning the mechanics.
It's not.
100%. Yes,
Like,
it is.
no doubt there is a little bit of RNGesus in there, but
Yeah.
there is. It's mainly get good, son. Come on.
Because I could, after doing that for so long, because spoilers, you fight him again later, I could beat him without really trying because I'd learned the mechanics that much.
Pass. Hard pass.
There you go. That's amazing. And I think Eric
honestly,
will definitely
that-
jump back in.
In terms, a game's control scheme generally quite accessible, easy to learn, but in
Yeah.
terms of actually learning a new skill and feeling like you've done something different, this was an amazing experience for that reason. Because I felt like I'd really grown as a player playing this game.
Would you agree that it deserved Game of the Year out of those nominees, though?
No.
Because I think you played
don't
most
think it's
of them, didn't you?
I wouldn't say it's the best of the year. I mean, it's a really good game, don't get me wrong, but I personally enjoyed the Souls games more because of the interconnected nature of them. Like, going back to Dark Souls 1 is a lot different. It's much more interconnected than Sekiro was. I like that better. I like the kind of gothic feel of Soulsborne more than Sekiro as well.
So I think you played more of the Game of the Year nominees than the rest of us. What would you think? What would you have chosen?
Well, I'm not going to say anything in case it spoils next week.
Ah, yes, good thinking.
So it is.
Yes. Good thinking, Batman.
Good
Because
point.
my name is not Mike Tyson and I don't ruin one of my picks.
All I care about is who won best esports coach.
And who is the
And who
influencer?
was that, Eric?
Fuck, I don't know.
It was
Eric,
him.
did you get influencer of the year? Because I think you should have gone for it. Greatest influencer.
Influencer. Content creator of the year, guy named Shroud. Esports coach, Danny Zonic Sorensen.
I know who Shroud is. He's from Counter-Strike.
You play against him?
Their shooting game. So, what the fuck is this? Oh, audio design, Modern Warfare.
Hell yeah, that game deserves it. There's so much esports on here.
I was shocked by how little Death Stranding won.
One game direction.
It won? Yeah.
I'm surprised that Gris won games for Impact, though.
I'm not. Did you play Gree?
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
Ooh,
Was it impactful?
Mads
Yeah, I'd say
Mikkelsen
so.
won Best Performance.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Gree is like, it's not obvious what it's about, and knowing what it's actually about actually enhances the game because it's not a spoiler as such, but knowing what it's about actually enhances your experience. Because I have an example of this as well. Is Hazel's sister, who doesn't really play games that much. She'd been recommended it by another friend of ours, and she was playing it, and she mentioned to me that she was playing it and enjoying it. And I said, "Oh yeah, do you know what it's about?" And she goes, "No." And I said, "Well, this isn't really a spoiler, and I'll be honest, it probably does enhance it for you." And I told her, and she was like, "Oh my god, like that's really cool." And she did actually start enjoying it more now that she understood it.
What's it
It's
about?
not very obvious with it. It's about the stages of grief.
Yeah.
After the death of a loved one, and going into it knowing that it does enhance the experience, in my opinion. And each stage of it is obviously the different stage of grief.
Yeah, that one is actually on Mike's top 10. That one, you can spoil that one. We can spoil that one.
That's on Switch now. It's actually on sale right now.
That's how I played it.
$10.
Crichton.
$10.
Mike may as well just rife through the rest of his list right now. Jesus Christ.
But Eric, you played it.
I
You
didn't
played it
say
on
anything
PC.
about it being on my top 10.
What
I
time?
just said
Yeah,
that
we
I
know it
enjoyed
is.
it.
What time?
I said, Eric, you played it on PC.
I started playing it. I actually played it with Ellie.
Yeah.
I didn't play through all of it, though. Go figure.
Standard
Stages of
Peterson.
grief.
Pulling a Peterson.
I only got to the second stage of grief and then gave up. Too sad.
Like, this shit takes too long. I'm just going to stuff it down. Forget about it. It'll fester up when I'm later in life and cause a whole bunch of problems.
Dear.
Yeah.
Should we move on, gentlemen?
Do,
Should
do,
we?
do, do,
Should we?
do, 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 do. I've been listening to that all week. There's an extended version on YouTube.
10
Half
hours?
an hour
10
of
hours.
that. But yeah.
Does anybody
that's a
watch
faster-
The Witcher on Netflix yet?
No.
Oh,
Apparently
no, not
it's
yet.
not
I'm
very
planning on
good.
watching it either tonight or tomorrow.
No, because I haven't had the fucking internet at my house since Monday.
Watch it on your phone, son.
Yeah. How are you communicating through it us now? Yeah.
Nobody
Because
watches
I'm at
things
mate's
on
house. I did
phones.
explain
Rubbish.
all of this literally at the beginning
Stay
of the show.
at your
Tom.
mate's house is what I'm trying to say. Live there now.
Oh, just invite myself around, shall I?
I am your
All right, yeah.
dad.
I'm going to spend all that money to buy myself a home and go
Yep.
and spend all of my time at my friend's house.
Yeah.
Look.
That's what I'm planning to do.
He's
Once
clearly
we move
a
in.
good
I'm just moving
friend.
into yours.
Right, not Tom Reagan, Tom,
Yep.
whose house I'm at.
Yep.
When you hear this episode, this is me formally inviting myself to your house to live.
You can come live in my house.
We want to
Am I
live in
allowed
your
to
house. We
wait?
didn't want to
Am I allowed-
leave.
Yeah, we didn't want to leave.
Okay. That's why I'm buying a bigger house.
As long as I can continue my trend of having a different place to sleep every single night, that would be marvelous.
Eric, if you could do me the favour of not moving out of Phoenix before Tom's stag do, because that's where I bought my fights to. So
No promises.
that's a very good point. Yeah, please don't move out of Phoenix before then.
I don't plan on
Yeah.
it.
He's going to, isn't he? Fucking asshole.
I'm going to
He's
move.
going to do it
Nash-
like the week before.
Yeah.
You guys, can you divert to Nashville, Tennessee?
Should we get on to our
Yeah, we should do that.
Game of the week.
It's
This
time
has
once
been
again for the
years.
game of the week.
Every time, Tom, every time.
So dumb.
I was waiting for
As
it.
if you're not terrifying enough as it is, let alone
But
getting
zoomed in,
like
it.
that.
I terrify myself, man. I don't want to look at myself, but I have to gauge it right. You know, I have to look at the.
I want to look at you,
on
Tom.
my
Zoom in on the cat when it goes past, because I've been
Okay.
enjoying that.
Oh, okay. Have you been seeing him? Have you?
Yeah,
Little
Oh,
he's
yeah.
been milling
Yeah, yeah.
about.
fluffy spooky comes out every now and again. Yeah.
What I want him to do, because we can see his litter tray, I want him to just like take a shit facing the camera.
Yes, I know, that'd be so funny. There we go. Spooky cam. Oh, he's not over there. Where is
Spooky
he?
cam.
Spooky cam. Where are you, Spooky?
If only you had eyes and could turn round and look rather than using your webcam.
I keep thinking Eric's smelling his armpit when he goes to cough into his
No,
shirt.
I'm being polite and coughing into my arm. It's like smelling salts. It wakes me up. Mike, you just suddenly got real
Anyway.
dark.
You are?
Yeah, you're quite dark, Mike.
I don't know if there's any more lighting in this room.
Open
so
your
you have to deal
dinosaur
with this, sorry.
curtains.
The curtains are open, and the light's over this side, so this is the best
You
you
got your
got.
Dan Curtis
Stick a-
webcam going on, have you?
Stick a floor lamp on.
Yeah.
I don't...
Turn the
there are
brightness
no
up on
other
your
lamps
monitor.
in here.
Illuminate your
What?
chin with
Shut
your
up,
phone
Eric.
light.
Load up a blank web page.
Oh, how will I see the cat?
Oh,
When it
good
comes
point.
past.
True.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Eric, what was the game of the week?
finally, we have tackled the divisive Resident Evil 4.
I mean, it's only divisive with you.
Yeah.
Well,
Considered one of the greatest games ever
Games
made.
of all time, yeah. When you say divisive.
The mixed review, Resident Evil 4.
has yet to be seen.
It's a bit like Marmite.
You either like it or you don't. And most
Or
people
one
don't.
person hates it.
Listen here. You should just be happy that I bought this thing twice.
Don't say that in front of Danny, he'll have a heart attack.
Mike, can you turn the brightness on your monitor down? It was too high.
How fucking bright is your TV?
Jesus Christ. How blind are you? Yeah, Resident Evil 4, the fourth game in the Resident Evil series, hence the name. And it's all
Technically,
lowercase.
it was the technically though it was the sixth main main release.
Was it?
Yeah, because you had Resident Evil Code Veronica.
Oh, yeah.
And
Director's
then,
cut.
And then there was the remake, wasn't there, before this?
The remake.
Also,
Yeah, the
Resident Evil
Resident Evil
Director's Cut. Remember that?
Oh,
On the PS1?
I do remember that.
I do.
Yeah. Fucking yeah, you do.
Came out January
sure
11th, 2005
2005.
on the GameCube.
Yeah, it did. It was a GameCube exclusive.
The Cube of Games.
And that's why
Like-
nobody
like-
played
Strange
it.
decision back then.
A very odd decision, my friends, to have it on the exclusive on the Nintendo console.
as we'll
Not
get
known
into-
for its Resident Evil games.
My God, it was the superior version.
Sorry?
It was the superior version to play at the time.
Is
After
Eric
it
going
wasn't
full
the-
robot for everyone?
Yeah, he's going
Yes.
full robot.
I thought it was
Oh,
me. but
Eric, the tables have turned.
How the turntables.
tide tables have...
We can't understand
We
a
can't,
word you're
'cause-
saying.
Oh,
I knew this day would come. I knew this day would come.
He's all pixelated and derpy.
Oh, your shitty internet there, Eric. Oh, what? Are
Relish
you
it,
on
Dan.
Wi-Fi?
Relish
it. Is your potato
What
not
a
working?
absolute twat basket. Honestly.
Dan's taking
Is someone
full
else
advantage.
using the internet in your house? Are the kids streaming? Have you remembered to pay your bill?
Listen, I can hear y'all just fine.
Yeah, we can't hear you. So
I can't have you, you fucking idiot.
do you know what's happened? Eric's played Resident Evil 4, and that's it. The world's starting to implode.
I think you might be back.
Is it bad?
Yep.
I mean,
Roughly, I think.
you're a little bit robot.
You text Christy and so stop watching porn downstairs, for God's sake.
No, I will not.
I will not.
Also, did you say this was out in 2005?
Yeah.
January 11th.
Yeah, the other one, Resident Evil 0, was out before this as well. That would make 6, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Am I back to normal?
Yeah.
We-
But yeah,
we-
what you're saying about the exclusivity to the GameCube, it was a deal between Capcom and Nintendo, but it was a much more complicated than that. So it was a ploy to attract older gamers with mature games. Nintendo made an agreement with the series creator, Shinji Mikami,
Yep.
to develop 3 Resident Evil titles exclusively for the GameCube. That was Resident Evil Remake 0 and this. And he famously stated that if Resident Evil 4 came out on another platform, he would cut off his own head, which is Japanese slang for someone quitting a job. But however, due to Resident Evil 4's immense popularity but disappointing sales, Capcom decided to port it to the PlayStation 2 and PC as well. Since it was Capcom and Mikami had made separate deals with Nintendo, Capcom claimed that Resident Evil 4 wasn't part of their full exclusivity deal with Nintendo. Mikami would later apologize for the game becoming multi-platform despite his earlier promise.
It's literally on everything. He couldn't be more wrong if he tried.
Yeah.
This game has had more re-releases than Skyrim, and that's saying something.
I mean,
Is
I
it
nearly
really?
played this on my toaster.
Well, I mean, they have to release it
Me
on
too,
something
on my
because
dad's knee.
one of them might actually be good.
I bought it on PC, but I decided to play it on the old Nintendo Switch for the old portability reasons.
I bought it on...
I've played it on PS4.
I started it on the Wii, then continued it on PS4, and finished it on Switch.
What was the Wii version like?
Not good.
Really? It's apparently one of the more definitive ways to play that game.
It is not good.
Yeah.
I've heard it's fun.
It's
I've
not.
heard it's very fun. And
It's not.
I would
Well, the
like you
game has
tell
to be
me-
fun in the first place for it to be fun.
Oh, and it wasn't at all?
Can we get this out of the way at the beginning? Because Eric's trying to get us to bite. Don't listen to a fucking word he said. Eric really enjoyed this.
Don't listen to me.
Would you say that Eric is digging his heels in again?
Yeah,
He
a little bit.
does that sometimes.
Also, right, can we get one thing clear as well?
Nope.
Can we just
No.
get something
No.
clear?
No.
No.
Because you guys seem to think, because of this, like, Eric digging his heels in and me defending it, that there seems to be this idea that I absolutely adore Resident Evil 4.
I do think you
don't.
do.
My argument has always been is that Eric's gone, oh, it's a shit game because it's not Resident Evil.
It's not.
And my argument has always
Sounds
been
just like him.
he's denying himself a great game because this is a great game, just because he's going, oh, it's not Resident Evil.
Yeah, but we stopped listening
You
to
know what
all
this
the
game
time.
is, and this is...
You say you stopped listening to me, but Tom was late today because he listened to me incorrectly tell him what time we were coming on to record. So you can't stand by that.
Listen,
Eric infected him with idiocy. It's temporary.
I'll stand by my statements that this is not a Resident Evil game. It is more an Onimusha game than it is a Resident Evil game. They were even they were even inspired by Onimusha 3 to drop the camera behind the character.
Okay, but my one argument to you, and I'm not disagreeing with you, it's very different to the original Resident Evils, but my argument to you here is that Resident Evil 2 Remake borrows a hell of a lot from this.
Yeah, but that's a Resident
In terms
Evil
of
game
gameplay.
because it's got zombies and it's actually based on a
I
real
thought you were
Resident
about
Evil
to
game.
say it's a Resident Evil game because it's called Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So it's the
Well,
zombie
why
thing.
have zombies, Eric, when you can have gonads? That is the question.
And potatoes.
And potatoes.
And
yeah.
And
Creepy
giraffe.
flasher
And a flasher.
merchants.
Yeah.
And a plot that makes absolutely zero sense. And a creepy little shit Napoleon dude.
And a
Yeah.
animatronic.
I get
stone
it.
statue.
It is definitely we're diverging away from the original first three games on the PS1. It is different in many ways, different perspective, different enemies entirely, and also
not a single Resident Evil enemy returns from the other games.
Yeah. And definitely more of an open feel to it. Like you have these actual areas that you have to explore before you can then move on to the next one. Less claustrophobic, at least in the first half of the game.
Much less terrifying.
Definitely. Like
It's not
I-
scary at all.
no, it really
Agreed.
isn't. And that was one of my little concerns.
This is
Like,
from the
oh, no.
designated shitter of the pants when we play horror games.
Yes.
Yeah, it was interesting actually. You'd never played Resident Evil before, had you?
I've never played this game ever.
I never played
Yeah.
this game before.
It
No.
was
I've seen
interesting. Now
footage
that I
of it,
think
but-
about it. Yeah, now that I think about it, because normally whenever we say like playing any kind of Resident Evil or horror game or anything like that, you do have kind of reservations about the horror. And going into this, you never actually said anything about it once. So were you aware that it wasn't really terrifying?
No,
or anything like that?
I think I don't get us wrong. I still wouldn't play horror games out of choice, but I think I turned a corner with Silent Hill because I got through them and Dead Space.
Was that the one you
and
played
I
on
actually
easy?
Really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Not going to play Resident Evil 7 in VR yet, then.
No.
Oh, come
I
on,
can't
dude.
quite
Do
get
it.
there.
I am not doing that.
Brown
either.
trousers time.
No way.
Have you tried it yet, Tom?
But
No. I will
Okay,
do.
Dan, you're only allowed to visit my new house if I get to see you attempt to play Resident Evil 7 in VR.
all right, I'm not coming.
Just loosen the muffler on your car.
I
was
mean, I
my
think
card,
I remember Dan took the headset off on the title screen for Until Dawn: Rush of Blood.
Nope.
So
I knew straight away. It's like, nope. Didn't want my first experience of VR to involve me shitting myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
in front of other people.
So wasn't
Yeah,
the
we've all
development
been there
of
before, haven't we?
the development of this game was pretty tumultuous. They actually had several different iterations and scripts that just got continually thrown out. And
Development actually began for the PS2 as well, as early as 1999.
Wow. You guys with the facts.
Yeah.
Spit in the fat.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it went through a tumultuous development cycle. But I mean, Christ, what game doesn't? It seems, especially good ones, constantly revising and recycling new ideas.
You can't take it
Seen
too
on.
far though and end up ruining it. So
Yeah.
Have they ruined it?
no, I was just going to say before. I would argue, it's not necessarily an argument. I really enjoyed this game. Actually, it's weird. I went through a lot of emotions playing it. The control scheme is bizarre when you first play it. It takes a lot to retrain your brain to play this game well. But once it clicks, it's actually really good.
Yeah, I liked it.
Storyline wise, absolute bollocks. Makes no sense whatsoever.
It's not a Resident Evil game, that's for sure.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's not.
Yeah, I agree with you. The controls were.
City. It
the
has
controls took a
Leon,
wild
who was
case
a
to-
cop for one day, and then suddenly he got pulled in to be a Secret Service agent for the president, and his daughter got kidnapped, so they sent this rookie cop who has 1 day of experience overseas.
I mean, I like the way you say he suddenly works for the president. This is based 6 years after Resident Evil 2.
But he even mentions in the game. I don't remember who he's talking to, but like, oh, you used to be cop? Yeah, for a day.
Yeah, he's talking to.
And then he escaped from Resident Evil. The authorities would have found them, and then he would have shown his skills, and then the president would have gone, "Hey, you over there."
You got 1 day experience, good enough for me. Go get my daughter.
Yeah, but also you
Don't
do discover
mind the
in this game that
entire
he used
might
to
of
be
the
in
full
military,
American
I think.
military at my disposal. You, Mr. 1 Day.
Eric,
Do it.
Eric,
What?
he has also got military experience.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, what about the dude later in the game that you have to fight in a boss fight who he used to be in the military with?
Did he? He was in the military with sauerkraut?
Yes.
Oh.
That's how they know each other.
Oh.
They were in the military.
Oh.
They were knife birdies.
I didn't
Knife
know that.
birdies.
They had a
They
nice
used to
time.
cross swords?
What about Wesker?
Whiskers?
But yeah,
Who is
going back to
Wesker?
Simulation
I can't remember no Wesker in the others.
From the first game.
What?
Resident
Dude,
Evil
Wesker's
1,
like
he was made.
he is the villain.
Yeah.
Albert Wesker. You got to
Did
play
you
Resident,
play
Evil
Resident
1.
Evil 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. We should
I
do the
don't know.
remake for the show one day, actually.
I don't know if
That
I've
would be
played
cool to
Resident
do for
Evil.
the show.
Resident Evil 1's great.
Yeah, especially
No.
the remake. Remake is the definitive way to play it.
So, let me get this out of the way because I feel like this is owed.
Go on.
Are you ready for this?
Is he about to apologize?
I wouldn't bet on it.
All right.
Mike.
Is he just going to fart?
Mike.
Go on.
Dan.
Hello.
Tom.
Hey there, sport.
I. Eric Peterson.
I'm an idiot.
Really fucking enjoyed this game.
That's 2 this year, Dan.
Yeah. The
He
two
enjoyed
games
Batman
he's
as well.
given the most shit for the longest time, but he's thoroughly enjoyed.
What was the other one?
Batman.
Batman
Oh,
Arkham
fuck that
Asylum.
game. Too much Square.
I hate you so much.
So before we get into the weeds, Eric, why did you enjoy it? Because obviously you've put this game off for so long for various reasons, and you know, whether it's you digging your heels in or whether you've just never got around to it, or you know, whatever reasons you've always had. Like, what was it that you actually enjoyed about
I
it?
think it was more I think it was a misconception because I'd played the very early stages of it. I'm like, this is not a Resident Evil game, and I think that's where I dug my heels in on it, and I just didn't enjoy that first section. And I'll still stand by it. That first hour sucks. It's not fun. But like Dan said, once you understand the controls and it starts to click and you start clipping through, it's pretty enjoyable.
Well, you see, when it comes to controls, all 4 of us, we all had that same moment. I think we all messaged each other and said, "Oh, I'm kind of getting to grips with the controls. I'm enjoying this now." I think all 4 of us did it, and I think that's just because we're used to modern control schemes. Because I remember when I played this on the PS2, for the first time, I didn't struggle with it. But this time, when I think I started playing this first before you guys, and I said to you guys, like, this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel good at all. And you guys all felt the same thing when you first started playing it. And it's strange because you're so used to things like, let's use the Resident Evil 2 remake, for example. You've got your left stick, which is you move, you've got full 360-degree motion. You've got the right stick, which is, camera full 360-degree motion. And this, even though it's an over-shoulder shooter, it's still technically tank controls.
Mm-hmm.
In a way. So, like, if you go right, Leon will just stand there still and just turn in a circle.
Yeah.
Unless you're within that 15 degrees of variance.
Yeah. And it really makes the motion very stunted in some bits because you kind of have to get used to the fact, okay, if I'm going to veer to the left whilst going forward, you can't turn the stick much further than those few degrees.
He must have he must have dropped out of the military before they taught you how to run and turn at the same time. That was
If
day
only
2.
you'd done those 2 days as a policeman, you'd know how to run and shoot.
He can shoot. He can shoot up though, unlike Mega Man. So. But yeah, it's strange because it is still tank controls, and the funny thing is, old school Resident Evils, but even before Resident Evil 4, because people will defend Resident Evil 4 to the fucking earth, they really will. But it's funny because everyone goes, "Oh, those old Resident Evils tank controls," and like, no,
I
this
love
still
tank
is
controls.
I liked them a lot. The tank
yeah,
controls.
I've always enjoyed.
Well,
them.
tank controls work because it's isometric camera angles.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Look at
but
Dino
just that, and
Crisis 2.
you
That was a
don't have a
blast.
full 360-degree view with the camera, the right stick. I very rarely use the right stick for the camera on this game because you basically can look up, down, left, and right, but nothing else, and you can't even go diagonally with that. So you can kind of look around Leon a little bit, but you don't have full use of that camera there. And going back to that with knowing how modern controls are, that was a real struggle to start with, I think.
Well, and I think what also took a little bit of getting used to is being aware of where you are and knowing that the enemies are a bit more strategic in this, because the zombies in the original games are very predictable. They're slow, they shuffle around, you know where they're going to be coming from. The enemies in this, the Gonads, they are a little bit more intellectual. They can make more strategic decisions. They can run, they can move, they can dodge, they can open doors, they can climb ladders. And if you just stand in
But
one,
they will still walk very slowly towards you.
Although sometimes they might run and then walk the last 10 paces.
yeah. So
Just to kinda
combat,
keep you on your
I think
toes.
what I really enjoyed about this was the variety of combat, because in the original games, yes, you could shoot up, kind of, but you had to
Yeah,
wait till
you
they
could
got
shoot
really
up.
close, and then you'd have to hope that it would hit him in the head. This one, the enemies were a lot more interactive, where you could shoot them in the arm and a gun would fall out of their hand, or you could shoot them in the foot and they would stumble, or shoot them in the knee and they'd go down to their knees, which would then open up a new aspect of combat where you could then kick them down or kick them forward, and it would do a little bit of crowd control.
Or German suplex them.
Yeah, do a little.
I didn't see the German suplex. When was that in it?
So you have to shoot them in the knee and the leg to get them to go down on their knees, and then
Right.
when you go towards them, you normally get a kick. If you've got them down on their knees, if you go towards them, you suplex them instead.
Oh, it's so good, because then their head explodes when they hit the ground behind you.
Yeah,
I wish I knew that.
Oh, it's so
I didn't do that either.
But that's when I
was
really
doing
started
I was doing
to.
the kick all the way through.
That's when I
Same
really
thing.
started to enjoy it, is starting to manipulate the combat a little bit more. And the first time I played through it, or first started playing it on PS4, I found myself really low on ammo because I went the Eric Peterson route of everything dies all the time. And
which you can do on this game.
You
can
can,
do
yeah.
everything dies.
but I was approaching it from the wrong way. I was thinking that everything needed to be finished with a bullet, which
That's the American way.
it's the American way. However, there weren't enough bullets to support my theory.
Crusade.
Yes, my crusade. That's a better route. So when you when you told me be more strategic about it, shoot them in the legs so they stumble, or shoot them in the shoulder so they stagger a little bit, and then you go kick them, and then as soon as they're on the ground, pull out your knife, because you actually have a button that pulls out your knife immediately and slash them on the ground. It's not the most intuitive thing to do, but it helps save a ton of ammunition.
See,
I
I
did
was
that.
doing that, but I was doing it when they were still standing up, so I'd just wait for them to get really close to me, and I got so used to the mechanics and how they attack when they get close that I could, 9 times out of 10, knife them to death before they actually hurt me.
Yeah.
So, but that took a while to click for me as well. I was doing it like you and using my ammunition a lot. I was like, the knife seems a bit useless, but something clicked, and then finally I realized, yes, you can use the knife to kill the Gonads.
When you have to.
And it's funny, as someone like me who those first 3 Resident Evil games are 3 of my, that's solidified Resident Evil as one of my favorite game series of all time. That's changed a little over the years, but those first, Resident Evil 2 is still one of my favorite games of all time, the old one and the new one. And this, for me, was the first time they ever actually made the knife useful.
Yeah, I never used the knife in the other games.
Yeah, because they were fucking terrible. That's why.
I remember I had a
bad.
strategy guide for Resident Evil 2, and in the final boss section, it had how many shots it would take from each weapon to kill that enemy, and they even had a knife in there. It's like, it would take 327 slashes from the knife. Who the fuck's going to do that? Me, because I'm out of bullets.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it to you guys as well about this game. It suffers from that kind of era of gaming with the muddy brown colour, where everything's very, very brown, like Gears of War style.
I had a guy message me, a friend. He was said that he really liked the kind of earthy color palette. Like it it's very distinctive of that game, because all the others are very much like in urban cities or like or interior, like the first games in the mansion and stuff. This one is very distinct. Like as soon as you see this dilapidated village and these earthy tones, that's Resident Evil 4, or at least
it is
a good
such a
portion of it.
huge departure in terms of locale.
Yeah, yeah. You're in Spain, right? Is it like some little village in Spain?
I would argue it gets a bit more like Resident Evil when you get to the castle. That's when it feels more like it.
I would say the bit after the castle, like when you start to meet the
Going on a
regenerators.
Island.
Yeah, the labs and stuff.
Yeah.
Once you meet the regenerator, I'm like, yes, this is Resident Evil. Creepy breathing in
80%
the
of the way
corner.
through the game.
A guy who hugs you with spikes. I like it.
I like it.
I mean, the interesting thing is it's supposedly taking place in Spain, but the Spanish spoken by the village people is a Mexican dialect, which obviously has a different pronunciation, and also they still use pesetas, which Spain stopped using pesetas in 2001. I think they switched to the euro.
I
Yeah.
thought they were potatoes, Mike.
Oh yeah, potatoes. Yeah, but where I got this fact from, it says on here that it may have been done just to show how behind the times the area is compared to modern Spain, but it's subject to interpretation, I guess.
So
What's going on with the Gonads?
Let's talk about this for a second. So Leon has been tasked to go and rescue the president's daughter.
The princess.
Yes. But she's in a different castle.
Did you get it? Did you get it? Yeah.
Get it?
I don't
got
get
it.
it.
'Cause there's a castle.
video game jokes
There's a
here.
castle in the game.
Spoilers.
Yeah. So he gets to Spain, hires these cops to take him out to a specific village where there's been reports that she's been seen. And he walks into the village and the people start attacking him. And Mike, this is where I wasted a ton of ammunition at first until you told me, just run around until the bell rings.
Yep.
And that's how I saved it.
So the first bit in the village. So you approach this village, and somehow they managed to get. Is this the point where you ordered? Like, because of the two drivers, they're kind of obviously like sort of crooked cops, and they're kind of like, oh, go on then, Mr. American, into the village.
Yeah.
And then when you get into the village, haven't they already caught one of them at that point and set him on fire, put him on a bonfire?
Was that supposed to
is
be
that
one of
the
those
guy?
cops?
Yeah, it is one of them, because you see another one of them dead later on.
Well, because
See
when
one of
Leon
them-
gets out, then they close the door and drive away.
Yeah.
And he just walks
Yeah, but
around the
how-
corner.
Yeah,
So then
but they get hold of him, put one of them on the fire.
Sucks
was
to be
quick.
him.
I'm sure he mentions to Hunnigan that he sees one of them on the fire when you use the binoculars.
The interactions with Hannigan, it just
So-
so many Hollywood lines.
The one thing that
The dialogue in general is cringe in this, Tom. It's so bad.
the one thing I will say about Leon is that this does not feel like the Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 2. The original
he's right.
or the remake.
He's a right Billy Big Bollocks in this, isn't he?
He is a
Yeah,
fucking
he is.
womanizing
he thinks
piece
he's
of
friggin'
shit.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, he is not. He tries
Oh,
to
he
do all
hasn't
these
big
Hollywood
spoilers.
movie lines. It's so bad.
Agreed.
But yeah, that opening village bit, you plunged into this open village section, and suddenly the entire village starts attacking you, and you end up having to wait until this bell rings, which then makes the enemies disappear, makes the villagers disappear. if you don't realize that, you are just going to use a shitload of ammo like Eric did the first time.
Tons.
And it's quite interesting.
Especially if you try to engage Chainsaw Betty.
Oh yeah, Chainsaw Betty, what a bitch. But yeah, what's interesting there is you kind of get to grips with some of the sort of new mechanics of the game, because as you're being chased by them, you can go into houses and start pushing wardrobes in front of doors and try and hide away and stuff like that. And you start sort of really getting to grips with the combat.
You can also start in that open area, sort of start accruing stuff by breaking open every crate, every barrel, opening every cabinet you see, like trying to actually
picking up the shotgun, Tom.
Yeah, picking up the shotgun. Don't miss that one. Don't miss that one. No. It's on the top.
As soon as I saw that there were things in like glass cabinets that you could break open, I thought of you, because you just bitched about that. You're like, why do I need to go get this 15-piece unicorn crest to put into this glass cabinet? I can just shatter the glass and take it myself.
That's Dan that does that.
That sounds like me.
Yeah.
That was Dan with Silent Hill. Why do I need to get the second hand to put onto the clock to then release the metal coin down through?
Just break it open.
Smashing could be in order.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots. I still think the architect who designed Resident Evil 2's police station should be shot.
Yes, but Dan, if you played Resident Evil 2 Remake, it gives an explanation as to why the architecture in the police station is so strange.
It does.
What, he doesn't have a brain?
No.
Close.
Sorry, Mike. I cut you off. I apologize.
No, you're fine. I can't remember what I was saying. But yeah, that first bit, and that has one of those really fucking terrible lines as well. Like when when the bell rings and they all kind of move away. Leon's, what's going on? Bingo?
Yeah.
Yes. What the hell?
One of my favourite ones, it's much later on, but he just goes, "No thanks, bro." And I was like, oh my God.
Well, and he does it later on. He shoots a gas can. He's like, hasta luego.
Oh, no.
There's so many.
What
The
about
right
the bit where
hand
that-
comes off.
What about the bit where that dude who he barely knows dies later on and he has a real moment? He goes, "Ma."
Oh, yeah.
No, that's the helicopter pilot. That's his buddy.
You've met the dude twice.
No, that guy, the I forget his
Lewis.
name. Lewis? Yeah, he's so like...
That wasn't Lewis in the helicopter.
No, but he
what-
shouts over Lewis as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when Lewis dies, he's like proper, like, as if he's just
Oh, yeah, that's
lost
what
a
I'm on
close
about.
loved one.
It reminded me of Devil May Cry towards the end.
What about-
I remember that, but
What's that?
remember something about "You are the one to fill my dark soul with light." Just reminded me of that.
Well, speaking of Devil May Cry, we didn't get into it before, but the original Devil May Cry started as Resident Evil 4.
Segway.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah, it
sense.
did. I remember talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did mention it on the show.
Might have been
on
one of
the Devil
those
May Cry show,
iterations,
but yeah, and they basically thought it was too far out there for Resident Evil and didn't suit it.
It's
So
too
then
far
they
out
came
there
up
for
with this
Devil May
instead.
Cry.
So we're gonna put in some gonads and a little Napoleon dude and animatronic giant little.
What about
Napoleon
when
dude.
Leon looks at Sadler? Sadler's the little guy, isn't he? Or is
No,
that
Sadler's
Salazar?
the-
Oh, I thought it was
Sadler's
Sadler
the
because
big
he.
bad.
I
The
thought he
little
made a.
Napoleon dude is weird.
I thought he made a small joke. He's like, "You're small time."
It probably does.
But what really killed it for me is when he comes across Ada for the first time, and Ada's like, "Put your gun down," and he's like, "I follow directions
Who's
from
Ada?
a woman. That's not my style."
God, like, it's
Jesus.
very.
I thought the bit earlier where it's
Christ, Leon.
the creepy Lewis guy's on about the Ashley's ballistics.
Yeah. Oh, the president's
Oh, God.
daughter's well equipped with ballistics.
I know none of you played this on PS4, but there is a trophy about that ballistics.
Is there?
What-
What do you have to do?
What's
Zoom
it
in on it?
Something ballistics, and I can't remember what it was, but it unlocks after that scene.
Jesus Christ. The thing is, right, the over-sexualization of Ashley on this, I'm not particularly comfortable with and never have been. She's supposed to be 20, but
Yeah.
looking at her and the way she acts, you would not think she's over
16.
14 or 15.
There's
Yeah.
some
I would say.
gratuitous upskirt shots too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
they
The comments that people make about her, like, you know, Lewis talking about the size of her tits and calling them ballistics, and then like her and Leon have this kind of strange flirting
yeah.
that they do, and
yeah.
then you know,
without
when they
any...
land on that garbage at some point, she says, "Oh, I can't believe you just made us jump off." And oh, I thought you'd be fine since you landed on your butt.
Oh yeah, just
Yeah, it's a good one. But that scene with Lewis where he basically he looks at the camera, clearly pans on her boobs, and he says something about ballistics, and it's really weird.
Yeah.
it's just bizarre too because it kind of comes out of nowhere. Like there's no other character build up around it, so it's not like it's a believable that a relationship is forming between Leon and Ashley.
Lewis does say when you first meet him, he goes, "I used to be a cop, and I also happen to be quite the ladies' man."
Oh,
like,
thanks.
Okay, mate.
Because that's how you introduce yourself to people.
Yeah,
That's what I usually do.
The problem lies with Leon is that we got to know him throughout all of Resident Evil 2, and
yeah,
he was kind of this little, he's still wet behind the ears rookie. He didn't give off that impression that he was ex-military, so he didn't have that.
He hadn't had that day of training yet, Eric. That's the important thing to remember.
It was more of an evening of training,
But he was a rookie at the start of that night, but by the end, my God, he was a military specialist.
He put in at least 2 hours of work.
Hey, that's a lot of work.
Oh God. Oh, got a sweat on. Jesus.
Need a vacation. I'm going to go to Spain, rescue the president's daughter. But he just doesn't, 6 years, somebody doesn't change their persona that much.
yeah.
It was almost unrealistic, and that kind of took me out of it. I think as soon as I disconnected and this is not a Resident Evil game. Yes, that is a guy who calls himself Leon, but I viewed it in a different light.
I think everyone else calls him it as well, if I'm honest.
I know, but
Cheers, Tom.
I know what you mean. You're like, this isn't the copy of Leon from
That's not
Resident
my
Evil 2.
Leon, is what he's saying.
Yeah, I
Hashtag
didn't
not
vote
my
for that,
Leon.
Leon.
Sorry,
Not my
I
Leon.
won't go down that road. Hashtag not my Leon.
But no, go on, Eric. Sorry.
No, as soon as I
influencing
started to
again
view the
with his
game in a different
hashtags.
light, and instead of viewing it as, because I think that was one of my biggest gripes was this isn't the Leon that I know, this isn't the Resident Evil that I know. Just looked at it as this is a different action horror game, and that's when I really started to enjoy it, and I kind of disconnected myself from the series.
Undug your heels.
Yep, firmly unplanted myself.
I personally went in with no particular knowledge of this one, not knowing what to expect. I've played Resi 1, 2, and 3, I think.
Apparently, you
Don't
haven't
think
played Resi 1 because you don't know who Wesker is.
Yeah, no shit.
No, I played it when I was really young, so I haven't played it since then. But I can't remember it enough.
Did you finish it as a
They
kid?
all kind of blend into one.
Resident Evil 1's
but-
real tough.
Did you finish it as a
original
kid,
is, yeah.
Dan?
I don't think I did. I
Yeah,
honestly couldn't
I've
tell
never got more than an hour in because it is pretty terrifying.
Yeah, once you get to the hunters and they start slicing your head off, fuck that game.
Jesus, I really want to play the remake though.
So,
I have it.
Mike, tell us what's going on here, because there's very little mention of Umbrella Corporation at this point. Umbrella has been all but dismantled, and
Yeah, because spoilers for the end of Resi 3, although you guys did Resi 3 on the show, didn't you? So, but spoilers for
Yeah.
Resi 3 if you've not played it or planning to play the remake that's being released next year. We'll get onto that a bit later because we haven't mentioned that yet. Eric's just pretended he's wanking. On camera, on the internet, everyone.
wasn't pretending.
Yeah, anyway. So the Raccoon City was completely destroyed. It mentions that at the very beginning of the game. Leon was one of the few survivors, and Umbrella is pretty much all but gone. So, as Eric has said a few times, Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 2,
Leon.
he is now a special agent who works directly for the president, which is President Graham, or President Graham, for us that talk properly.
Graham Cracker.
And basically, his daughter Ashley, who we've spoken about before, the one with the ballistics, who's clearly underage and it's all weird. She has been kidnapped, and like Eric said as well, someone who looks like her has been spotted near this village that's supposed to be in Spain. So Leon's sent to investigate, and when he gets there, the people start attacking him and stuff. And there's actually this really cool part that I enjoy at the beginning of this game when you go into like a little hut, and the first guy you approach you think is going to be a zombie, and as he turns, it does like a slow turn, like he's about to turn around and attack you, and he doesn't at first. So Leon kind
yeah.
of puts his gun down because he thinks the person kind of looks normal. And then you're shoved straight into gameplay where the guy starts attacking you. And when you kill him, Leon actually goes, "Oh, he wasn't a zombie. That's weird." And so the main antagonist in this and the overall thing is to do with these small ancient parasites called Las Plagas. And kind of overview of what Las Plagas is that these fossilized parasites that have been dug up, and they started as they dug up, they kind of went into the from the stone and everything that was ground up, went into the people and started making them mad and strange and weird. And this entire village kind of ended up cut off from itself because there was the Salazar family who has the huge castle there. They knew about all this mining underneath, and Sadler, who we mentioned before, is the big bad of this. He gets involved, and he manages to find like the lead Plagas, which he can then use to control the others. So he creates like a cult, and he starts using these people are getting sick and mad and everything like that. He starts using the last Plagas that he can now control to put into the people, and he creates this cult, and this village has been shut off from the rest of the world. And these last Plagas, the main enemies that you will face, so basically the zombies of this game, they're kind of like real people. They're a little bit creepy, but they don't move like zombies. They're not undead. But they can take a hell of a lot of bullets for some human beings. And that is from the last Plagas parasite being inside of them. So what you're faced with for the majority of the enemies in the game are these people who, like Dan says, they do sometimes still stalk towards you, but they can run, they can use weapons, they can use explosives, they can use guns, they can use chainsaws.
Pitchforks.
These ain't no slow-ass zombies.
Tomahawks.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
Flaming-
Oh my god,
flaming
the dynamite
torches, that's
guys.
a good-
Oh,
Which ones had tomahawks?
they would throw axes at you.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
But the dynamite guys
you
are
can
my
shoot
favorite.
the axes out the air when they shoot them. When
Yes,
they chuck
that was
them as
cool.
well.
Hey, did you guys ever, as soon as the guys would light the dynamite, you could shoot it and it would
Shoot
blow
the
them up?
dynamite? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
every time.
there was one spot you came into where you could hear a guy, he was chucking it out the window, but he would raise his hand up just enough, and there were 3 other guys in the cabin with him where you could shoot the dynamite through the window. Because those guys kept killing me because you'd have to come in through the window and then they would all attack you at once. Like, I'm just going to see if I can snipe that stick of dynamite and just blow everybody up around him.
I can't tell you how many times the dynamite people on my game blew up the other
Oh, it's great.
dudes just by accident, by getting stuck
yeah.
on the levels, or it just happened all the time. There was one section, I think it's the bit after you meet Creepy Lewis, when you go through to the village and there's an absolute load of Gonads there, and you can just they all like wandering around different levels of the village, and then you can kind of herd them towards where you enter the room, and then when the dynamite ones come, they kind of get stuck and just end up throwing the dynamite. They must have killed about 8 of them at once, just throwing these sticks of dynamite. So you can pit them against each other a little bit as well. They can kind of hurt each other.
There are
which is cool.
quite a number of sections, though, that I just ran through, though. Like, I'm just going to zip by these guys.
I killed everyone.
I think I killed most things, yeah.
Yeah.
But Mike killed the most.
Eric, you let yourself down, man.
I did.
I think we also got, correct me if I'm wrong, this is also the introduction of a new herb, the yellow herb.
A what?
The yellow herb.
Yeah. Yeah, see?
Yeah.
He said herb.
Yeah.
I think we just had the normal green, red, and blue in the first 3 games. And because you can
I
actually
don't think
increase.
the blue one's on this one, is it?
Sorry?
Oh, maybe the blue one isn't. Maybe
There's
it's
no
not.
blue herb on this one.
No.
No, because the blue one's for like removing toxins, I think, and I don't think you ever need to do that in this game. But the yellow one, because you can increase your maximum health, you can actually crank that up pretty high. Yeah, and actually, and you can even do it to Ashley as well, which I never
Screw
did.
her.
That, though.
Yeah,
But which is also a bit of a departure from the other games as well. You know, the other Resident Evils, 1 to 3, and then Code Veronica. You've always had that sort of 3-tiered system on your menu of the fine, caution, and danger.
Yeah.
Whereas on this, you have an actual health meter.
Sorry, Tom, did you mention that there's no blue herb in this one?
that's what I
Dan
thought.
just
Yeah,
Okay.
or there is.
There is not.
No, there isn't.
Because
Oh,
there's
yeah,
no
yeah.
risk of being poisoned.
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally what we just said.
Yeah. That's why I asked. I wasn't...
Yep.
But yeah, in terms of kind of following up what Eric said to kind of say what's going on, and you do learn that basically what's happened is the Lord Sadler has kidnapped the president's daughter because he wants to inject her with Las Plagas, wants her to go back to the US and then he wants to infect the president and then ultimately America and be able to control the world.
Yes.
So there's no bioweaponry in this one, as Resident Evil normally goes by. This one's all about...
Well, sort of. I mean, he wants to use Las Plagas as a biological weapon.
Well, yeah, but it's not like chemicals and shit. It's not like a virus and stuff.
I might be wrong, but is Las Plagas the kind of base of the T-virus? Did they use that?
No.
Does it connect?
No, that's the progenitor that they use. If you play Resident Evil 5...
Las Plagas
that's
is
kind of
purely
what's into it.
natural. It's not created anywhere in a lab. So then...
Well, in spoilers for Resi 5, they end up like talking about like the plant that was used to create the T-virus, which is natural as well. But I get where Dan's coming from.
Yeah.
One of the other ways that this isn't really a Resident Evil game is the de-emphasis of puzzle solving. So it's in there to an extent, but it's a lot simpler and a lot less find this key to open this glass cabinet to get a coin to have a shit or something. You know, it's completely different.
I know what you mean.
The puzzles are generally quite self-contained. For example, when you go to the church and you have to rotate the lights, which took me forever.
Yeah. well, it's because it's much more linear. You're kind of just clipping through.
It is
each
very
area
linear game.
sequentially. Yeah. Whereas somewhere like Resident Evil 2,
13 of Resident Evil.
the police
There's our
station's a good
Final
example
Fantasy
of
reference.
you have 3 floors of one building and you're going through like you would go into one end of the police station, then to the other, and then back again, and then that triggers off new events that occur. So it's always feeling quite fresh.
You'll revisit some areas in this, but it's mostly just to pass through.
Yeah, totally.
Well,
So
you know, this is where... So I'm not a massive fan of Resi 5 or Resi 6, especially Resi 6, but this is where sort of some of the puzzle solving went from figuring things out to more, you just need to shoot the right thing. And this game, you know, when Eric mentioned before about, I was talking about your technique when you're fighting. It's not about necessarily not killing everything. It's about working your technique. And this entire game is about accuracy. Everything is about the gunplay. As simplistic as the gunplay is, that's what it is. They really, really leaned into it. So, especially later on in the game, there's moments where, right, you need to figure out the puzzle. Oh, the puzzle is just I need to shoot something. You know, there's 2 areas later on where there's a spiked ceiling coming down at you. And you have to figure out how to stop it. And how you stop it is, there's 4 glowing lights on the ceiling.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah, it's all. But this is really, really leaned into. Now, Resident Evil 6 I've only played once, so I'm a bit sketchy on that. But I know on Resident Evil 5, off the top of my head from remember playing it, everything is just you need to shoot the right thing.
yeah.
Like it
Sounds
really
like I
is.
need
They
to play
really,
that
really
game.
stepped away from it.
There was another one on this where you had to shoot the fruit to open the gate.
I remember shooting the bottle of wine. I remember that one.
the bottle of wine, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
It's in part of the castle. It goes into another room where you end up getting a cage put over you, and you end up like blind Wolverine put in there with you.
Oh, yeah.
And Wolverine.
Oh, yeah. It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, but like this, it's funny because you know we said it's not terrifying. It's not really a horror game. It's kind of a
Thriller?
It's a
maybe?
shooter.
It's action.
With kind of little quote unquote horror atmosphere, really. But it's funny because there's so many sort of tropes in it that are kind of horror games anyway.
Here's the thing. I agree. I think the fact that I even managed to get through all of it means it's not as horror as it could be. But what I loved about this game was how it was very open and you could always find places to hide in the first half, and even in the castle to some extent. There's quite wide open areas. You're well aware of your surroundings and your situation. But once you get to that final sort of section on the island with the lab and stuff, where it's very, very classic Resi with corridors, and then they introduce a new enemy, which is frankly terrifying because of the noises they're making. And it becomes very horror to me. And I actually was like dreading going through some of those doors. So it did feel a bit more horror-y, Resi. But I think you're right. As a package, as a whole game, it's definitely more shootery thriller. Yeah, but I thought they really pulled it. I thought they really pulled one over on me by getting it to be super horror once I'd invested all that time and I had to finish it. I thought that was really clever design in some way.
I did genuinely enjoy that tail end.
I wasn't too bothered by that bit, Tom.
Oh, damn
I
it, man.
thought that they give you the thermal scope so quickly that you could take them down.
True,
So
true.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
but-
too bothered.
But
It
still,
was the
there was
sounds
always
they made.
there was always one little parasite on his back that you had
Yes.
to either find the perfect spot to shoot through him to hit that parasite, or find a way to get him to bend down, slice him in the knee or shoot him in the knee to get him to bend down to get just that sliver of a shot. And he moves so slow, and he's meanwhile just going.
You should probably give some context of these enemies for the listeners, actually, Eric, as well.
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah, I was referencing the
regenerators.
one of the I think it's the last enemy that you're introduced to, last proper enemy. They're the regenerators, and they are impossible to kill through normal means, like through any regular weapons. The only way to kill them is by using a rifle with a thermal scope and actually targeting the various parasites that they have on their body. As you can see, there's like maybe 4 parasites on the front of them, and then there's generally one on the back, which is what you were mentioning just now, Eric. Yeah.
And it gets even worse later on when there's the spiked versions of them.
Well, and the reason that we
Jesus,
get to
yeah.
those is because partway through the game, you by now you're accustomed, shoot them in the head, their head explodes, they die. And then you continue doing that once it hits nighttime and their head explodes, and then this thing pops out, and it can be, it can be extremely fatal if you get close to it. So it's the Las Plagas it kind of manifesting itself and continuing keeping that body animated.
I forgot about that. Sorry, like just the generic gonads, like some of them not even that far into the game. If you'd shoot their head off, and then suddenly this like tentacle like
It was
monster would come
completely
out.
random though, so you never knew when it was going to happen. Sometimes
was.
they would walk forward a few steps, and you'd think, "All right, they're going to fall down on their face like that other dude did," and then the next thing you know, one
Yeah.
of the bloody parasites pops out.
Yeah, which is kind of cool because you would be like, they'd be getting closer to you, and then you pop them in the head, and you think, I really hope this is one that doesn't spawn into a horrible parasite, because I'm too close into the corner here. I've been backed into the corner.
And I'm running.
You couldn't really
dangerously
knife
low.
the parasites either. If you got too close, they would do a hell of a lot of damage to you.
Oh yeah.
Well, they'd
Especially in
slice
the
your head
later-
off.
Yeah,
So,
especially
It's
in the
like
later
like the
stage.
chainsaw dudes as well. They were pretty aggressive.
well, this
Have
game
we
was
actually said their real name so far? Have we just called them gonads?
good.
They're gonads to me, Mike. So
Los
I'm not really bothered.
Gonados,
Gonads.
which is derived from the Spanish word
penis.
ganado, which means livestock or cattle in general.
because they're a bunch of sheeple.
Yeah, exactly.
So
But the language they're speaking is actually a language, an actual language. It's a Spanish-based Creole language spoken in Colombia. I'm probably going to butcher this pronunciation. Is it Palenquero? Does that sound right? Yeah, and I've actually found I found a website that actually has like the full translation of the things like they're saying.
Oh.
Like so when they go "Mátalo," that's them going "kill him." Let's see if there's some of these that I can say without finding it sounding like an idiot.
Yeah, get your own shtick. That's mine.
Let's have a look. There was one where they say something that sounds like "cogredlo," which is grab him.
Yeah, because they
There's
always
things that, like,
used
say,
to.
I'm going to make mincemeat out of you is one of them. I'm going to stop saying the Spanish bits.
'cause
But
if
like, they
you-
say
if-
things like I'm going to make mincemeat out of you, behind you, imbecile, die, die, die.
Nice.
What the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, they're a friendly
that
bunch,
basi-
aren't they?
One that basically means motherfucker. I'm going to break you into pieces.
Wow.
Imbecile, I want to kill you, like stuff like that.
Imbecile.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to mention really quick too is this game was hyper violent compared to some of the other ones, especially in your death scenes. And that was actually one thing that got censored in the Japanese versions. So Chainsaw Betty will come up and they'll cut your head off. The Las Plagas can cut your head off as well, but that was censored and removed. Any animation involving decapitation was censored and removed from the Japanese version, and instead changed it to Leon's face just becoming kind of poorly mutilated.
Interesting, because they're not normally worried about stuff like that. in Japan,
They're
are
usually
they?
censored in the West, rather than
Exactly.
the Japanese.
Yeah, and the Japanese version had an easy mode, so Dan, you should have played the Japanese.
God, so funny. Look at the sheer mirth on my face.
Here, if you scroll down on this page, you'll see a little video that shows you the differences.
Interesting. I'll take a look at that in a bit.
God damn, that game looks like shit compared to the one on PS4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
Well,
the GameCube
actually,
one looks well.
the PS2 was severely hampered in terms of polygon and resolution. They had to remove a ton of textures, and some of them are really difficult to spot too. But if you look at like the barrels that you can cut open, just to show you how much they had to cut out just to make it run properly, there's a metal ring on the top and bottom of the barrel to make it look more like a traditional barrel in the GameCube version. They had to go as far as taking that metal ring out of all of the barrels just to make sure that the game would run and not have RAM constraints. Also,
yeah, they are fully wooden on PS2, aren't they?
yeah, all of the full...
No, I've never noticed it before, but now you say it.
Every
What's
full
fully
motion or
wooden?
every version of the game except for the PS2, all of the full motion videos run in-game graphics. So if you change Leon's outfit or give him a different weapon in the FMVs, he'll actually have that. In the PS2 version, they're all pre-rendered, taken from the GameCube. So regardless of what you have on, he'll be stock Leon.
He still always has the same pistol.
That's
though.
interesting. I'm sure. Oh, I was going to say he still always has the same pistol on the PS4 version. But
Yeah, and then they had to change the water heart, or they had to change the water transparency. It's flat, no reflections. It's just, it's crazy how much more powerful the GameCube was than the PS2.
there was a marked
Wow.
difference in quality between the in-engine scenes and the FMVs on the PS4. The FMVs looked atrocious.
Yeah,
They were really, really grainy.
I didn't notice the difference on Switch. But I'm
Switch
sure
looked
I
great.
played the remaster of this on the PS3 before, but I didn't finish it. But the only time I've ever finished this is this time, and when I played it on PS2.
Actually, I tell a lie, Mike. There was certain scenes where it was terrible and certain ones where it wasn't. So
Interesting. I wonder why that is.
it's really strange. It was very
But-
jarring.
But you mentioned the barrels you could smash open, Eric, and I think one of the big differences of this game as well is item procurement, because all of the old Resident Evils, there is basically just the items that are in the game are the items that are in the game. You know, that stash of handgun bullets is always going to be there every time you play that game. Once you've taken that, it's gone. You know, that stash of shotgun shells, once you take that, it's gone. It's always going to be in the same place every time you play it. Now, there are items like that in this game. You know, you open certain boxes, there's certain ammo and things like that. But this one has, you get items from the enemies,
Yep.
which has never really been a thing before. Nemesis aside, where you could get upgrades from him if you took him down at certain points. But that is all fully randomized. You could be getting money off them, or you could get ammo off them. And if you died and came back, you might have a better chance because randomly one of the enemies has spawned ammo that you really needed, or you've been able to do a better upgrade because you got more money this time through. And that's something that Resident Evil has never approached before, and that again takes it further into the action game territory. It's just it is a very, very strange. We've mentioned it a few times. It's a very strange direction, but you know, we've mentioned the money as well, and this is the first one really where that has an item shop.
Oh,
a
yeah.
really creepy merchant.
Yeah, there's upgrades and stuff in the old ones, but this one is the first one to really have someone you go up to with money that you've bought and you know, upgrade every weapon you want to and everything like that, and you can buy healing items and stuff. And
Well, in the previous Resident Evil games had a very linear progression in which weapons you used. You know, you go from your pistol to your shotgun to your rifles to so on and so forth. But here, it was kind of left up to your own devices. We all played through with a different combination of weapons. If you want to go through with your basic handgun upgraded, or the Punisher, or if you want to get the Red 9, some of us stuck with the original shotgun, or you can go up to the I forget what the other shotgun is called, but then they have a striker later. So it's just this, whatever you want to play through and whatever you feel comfortable with, but then you can use that money to upgrade different aspects of that, like your capacity, your firepower, your fire rate, and your reload rate. And then once you get all of those upgraded, you can do, what's it called at the very end?
it's a special upgrade or something like that, was it?
I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, it pushes it beyond its capabilities and makes it even more powerful. But
Break damage limit. Final Fantasy reference again.
is there enough money in the game to upgrade every weapon all the way?
I'm
Probably
trying
not.
to think if there's anywhere where you can farm money. Like, is there a point where...
I don't think there is.
Well, there was one
It's
section
pretty- it
early
gets
on in the
pretty
game,
dear.
right after you meet the merchant for the first time, where you have to go through. You basically have to run through and grab these 2 crests, put them together, and then open a door and get out. I wasted all of my ammo there, and enemies still kept coming. So I think you could, if you wanted to, farm ammo, but it would farm money, but it would be at the expense of ammo, and I don't think
It would
that's
take
worth it.
ages though, because the standard Gonads didn't generally drop a whole lot of potatoes.
No.
So,
Yeah, they're usually less than 1,000.
but there is, I know for a fact, after you finish the game, there is an infinite rocket launcher which costs like 9,999 or
It's
something.
a million potatoes.
Yeah, so that would
Oh.
take forever to unlock.
Yeah, I thought about
Yeah,
playing
but
through it
doesn't your
again.
money
if you
carry
just,
over on New Game Plus, though?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It might do, yeah.
yeah, but I looked. I've only got 250,000, so it'd still
No,
take
that's
forever.
it. So your weapons carry over. So obviously you can sell all of your upgraded weapons to him, and if you're buying the infinite rocket launcher, you're not going to need them, are you?
Yeah, it's true.
That would be so fun though to play through it with that.
would be.
Yes.
Blow the shit out of everything. It would be amazing.
But the crows that you can shoot even drop things. Like Eric
Oh, yeah.
Eric did his usual thing of starting a game and trying to shoot anything, and he saw a bird and shot one and was like, I just got a grenade from a
Flash
crow.
grenade or something.
And then I murdered all the cows in the village and got nothing.
The cats. Sorry, Tom's cats are playing in the background, and it's the cutest thing. I've lost my train of thought now because of the cats.
The
I'm
chickens
sorry.
will lay eggs, and then you can kill them and potentially get another egg.
The snakes will drop an egg.
Yeah, because they ate the chicken's egg.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
And very, very rarely they drop a gold egg.
You get the golden one, is pretty good. Full health on that one.
So here's my question: is Leon just eating a raw egg and getting
Yeah,
health?
it's good for protein.
Yes.
Yeah. Like Chainsaw Betty attacks him and he gets like a sore arm, like a split arm or something, and he's just like, "Oh, I'll just eat this egg. Much better."
Better than shoving
Standard
turkeys
video
up your
games.
crotch.
What about? I don't think we mentioned you can buy the larger cases from the shopkeeper as well, so you can upgrade.
And you can rotate
your
your
space.
items.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realise that
Oh,
until
yeah, I
halfway
didn't
through.
realise that until
Mike didn't get it
80%
till
of the
near
way
the end. Oh, that's amazing.
Don't you be spreading these lies again about me?
Yeah. Might play that
You're
on
only
Stadia.
supposed to do lies when we're not here, remember?
But the Stadia
point.
thing wasn't a lie.
Yeah, that was kind of cool that you played that.
But yeah, it's a great way of keeping in inventory management in the game, but also not limiting you. You know, the old Resident Evils, you've been limited to either 6 or 8 slots depending who you're playing as and stuff like that. And it's a great way of still keeping that in, but also not, keeping you so far back.
Weren't you saying, Mike, that the ammo that drops is directly correlated to what weapons you have in your inventory?
Yes. So apparently you will get more. So if you're carrying the TMP, you will get more TMP than you would if you weren't carrying it.
That's one weapon I didn't buy until the very end because I stuck with the shotgun, the upgraded Red 9, and
Oh, yeah.
the rifle, the second rifle.
Semi-auto.
Yeah, the semi-auto rifle.
Semi-auto rifle was amazing.
But then for
That
some
was a
reason,
godsend.
towards the end of the game, I started getting nothing but Magnum and TMP ammo.
Yeah,
I
So-
thought
me
you
too.
struggled for Magnum ammo.
What's
Dude,
that?
I thought you struggled for Magnum ammo.
I did. So I sold off my Magnum and then immediately started collecting a bunch of Magnum ammo. So I held on to it. And by the end, I had probably 50 Magnum rounds. And
I messaged you guys about this as well when I got to the castle. There was a real lack of handgun ammo for some reason.
Yeah,
And that was what I was using most of the time, and I just wasn't getting any.
it did get somewhat reduced.
well,
But I would say I actually ended up using the TMP quite a lot.
I only
It was
did
good
because
for mowing down a lot of enemies. Yeah, I just had to in the end.
I
'cause
got
it
to
just
the end
kept
and I'm like,
giving
I
me
have
it.
500 TMP rounds. I'm going to buy a TMP. And I didn't upgrade it at all. But for me, it was just like that. Okay, in case I'm in a pinch, here we go.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so I found an article on Engadget which is referencing a Game Maker's Toolkit YouTube video, which is Resident Evil 4's secret. And it says, Resident Evil 4 is one of the most beloved entries, yada, yada, yada.
Is it?
One that often goes recognized is its dynamic approach difficulty. As Pocket Gamers Mark Brown explains, Resident Evil 4 would subtly tweak your experience depending on how well you were playing. Enemies would deliver greater damage, for instance, and appear more aggressive if you were easily charging through each area. And some players have suggested that ammo drops would automatically decrease for your preferred weapons. All of this culminated in a game that is naturally balanced challenge and progression. You never felt completely safe or in control, but neither did you feel the tricky sections were impossible. As Brown notes, to Capcom's credit, they've never confirmed the feature's existence. All we have is anecdotes and corroborating gameplay footage from the fans. So it's not confirmed, but I don't know. I mean, I never struggled for handgun ammo on this playthrough, but I didn't struggle for ammo at all. I mean, I've played this game a few times. I've only finished it twice, including this time, but I've played it a few times, and I've never had so much ammo. But I don't know if maybe that's because I've played it a few times and I know what I'm doing.
Tom was too busy collecting grenades.
I had so many grenades. It's like
You
I had
really
like
did.
I had like 6 flash grenades, loads of incendiary ones, and a couple of standards.
And I used grenades like they were going out of style.
At the end, the final boss took me about 30 seconds because I just kept launching grenades.
Yeah.
So that was
I
pretty
sold
decent.
most of the grenades, actually. I wasn't using
Oh.
them.
Did you get a high price for them?
I did.
We didn't talk about the special items that you can combine. So there are treasures that you can pick up, little gems, spindles, cat's eyes. Then you can pick up little
lanterns and stuff, yeah.
chalices and crowns and face masks. And sometimes if you go into examine the item, it'll say, this looks like it can slot into something else. And you can either just sell those things.
Yeah.
You can sell those things off individually, or if you combine them, then you take it to the merchant and get a higher price for it.
Yeah, and then he goes full pirate with you.
Yeah.
I'll buy it at a high price.
Such a weird voice.
You know what? The weird thing is that merchant has never appeared in any other Resident Evil.
You know
He's
what
literally
pissed
just
me
in this
off
one.
about that merchant?
How does he move
like,
around so quickly?
Several times you'd see him. He'd be in this cave, complete armory, boxes of bullets abounding. Wouldn't sell you a single one. Dude, I am dying. I'm trying to save this island. I have all of these potatoes I want to give you. Give me a box of bullets.
No. How about this shitty handgun?
How about when you search a wardrobe next to him and find like a crown and then sell it to him? You go,
Yar, I didn't look there.
I didn't look there. I've been standing here for a while, but I didn't.
How
look
about
there.
an herb?
Did any of you kill him?
Can you do that?
I accidentally killed him, and I had to quickly Google to find out if he came back, if I needed to restart my save or not. So there's one point, it's after that boss where you have to use the gas canisters. Well, we'll get onto boss battles in a minute, but and you go down a ladder, and he's actually inside a cave, and there's bats in there, and you can kill the bats, and you get items off the bats as well. So like these bats around, I was struggling to shoot them, so I took my knife out and was swiping at the bats, and accidentally just knifed him and killed him.
One hit.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yar, I'm weak.
Yar, I've been cut.
You're stabbed me,
I had a
you
quick
bastard.
Google to see if I needed to restart my save or not. And I did anyway because I wanted to use him. And I'd saved just there. But supposedly in normal mode, he does come back. But apparently if you play in professional mode, which is the hard mode you unlock,
Yeah.
if you kill him, he doesn't come back at all.
Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, he doesn't get a name. You don't find out anything about him.
No.
He never comes back in any other Resident Evil. He never learns Leon's name. I mean, I've spoken to you 20 times in the past hour. My name is not stranger. I don't think I'm a stranger anymore.
Yeah.
Look,
I'm
dude,
a
how about we
regular.
join forces here, and I'll give you the potatoes, you give me the ammo, and we'll just get off this island together.
Yar.
Do you think he makes it off the island
card.
before it explodes?
I mean, hopefully.
He seems to be able to teleport, so
Why doesn't Leon
Yeah.
just stick with him and just follow him through his little tunnels?
also why has he got his own shooting ranges everywhere?
Want to play a game?
He's even got it built in Salazar's castle.
Just every so often. I feel like, given that the Gonads are basically mindless slaves, that he's not much of an entrepreneur because he's just waiting for Leon.
I
bring
predict
his
low
potatoes.
sales, especially if you're
Yeah.
withholding inventory. You are in no position to be not selling. Let me tell you a little bit about supply and demand. Supply is high, demand is low, Sell.
You been playing Moonlighter, son?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Do you want to talk about the bosses?
I would love to talk about the bosses.
Yeah.
Get on a
So the
boat,
first-
fight some El Gigantes.
So
Oh,
I found
yeah,
out that
that is-
first boss on the boat. I didn't find this out until today when I was kind of looking at some interesting stuff for this. And apparently, you can pop a trophy for it as well on the current ones. Apparently, if you shoot the water before you go over, the giant fish that I can't remember the name of comes out and kills you.
If you're just
Isn't
standing
that
on the
right?
dock and shoot the water.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you get a trophy.
Really?
You get a trophy for it. It's like something like "Don't go fishing" or something like that.
That's cool.
So
that's
the
a
first
weird
boss
first
battle
boss.
in the boat
It is.
is where I got to on the PlayStation 4. And my time getting up to there was just shy of 4 hours. When I switched to the Switch, I made it back there in an hour and 20 minutes.
It is Del Lago,
Wild.
the giant fish.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, it was
is
weird. I wasn't
Spanish
sure what to
for
do
from the
for,
lake.
for a while.
Boy, they really put the think tank together on this. There's this plague. What should we call it? Lost
same as a plague.
Guess. Okay, who owns it? The Illuminati. What should we call it? Los Illuminados. This boss is in a lake. What should we call the lake?
What about those guys who walk around that look a bit like penis, so we'll call them gonads?
Gonads.
Del Lago.
Del
What his
Taco?
name is.
World premiere Del Lago.
And Del Lago was actually one of the earliest points where I died lots because of god-awful quick-time events.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't understand how to avoid. Well, first of all, I didn't understand you could control the boat. Like,
Yeah.
well, he's just going to drag me into this tree
Yeah,
stump.
I didn't know that either.
But then he dives down, turns around, comes back at you, and I didn't know how to avoid that.
Yeah.
Press buttons and hope for the best. I think I just survived by accident in the end.
And if he does take you into the path of like a log or something, you get kicked out of your boat and you have to just hammer one of the buttons to swim
Yeah.
back to your boat, and then just
Can I ask
go
a
through
question,
the whole
though?
rigmarole.
How many of those fucking harpoons were in that tiny little boat?
I know, right?
Lots.
Oh, I guess I'm unlimited. Yeah, and
El
it would give you like
Harpoonos.
an arrow indicator when you're ready to harpoon to check if maybe he'd be coming up from one of the sides. So that was pretty handy. It was pretty simple in the end, but definitely died from quick time events, same as you, Dan. Super
Yeah, but
annoying.
this theme continues throughout the game. The problem
does.
as well with the quick time events is there's two combinations. So there's square and X when I was playing it, or there's L2 and R2. And
Yeah,
it
yeah.
randomly switched between them. Just all the
It was
so if you
actually
if you
completely
died
random.
and reloaded.
Yes.
One that was square and X might then be L2 R2.
I thought that was really interesting. Like, it was annoying, but I was like, why? Yeah.
I like how when you're watching a cutscene too, sometimes they would just randomly pop up mid conversation. Eleanor! Ah, fucking.
I would just die.
God,
yeah.
that fight. Well, we'll get to it, one of the bosses later on, but that was all quick time events.
Yeah.
I think I know the one you mean.
Yeah.
Well, the next boss that you take after the lake, it ends up becoming like kind of a sub boss a few times throughout the game. The El Gigantes.
the cave
and
trolls from Lord of the Rings.
Gigante.
Yeah, they.
That's all I could think of when they came out. When it comes
They
out
have a
of the
cave
cave.
troll.
That's just all I could think of.
They have a like dancers. They're like giant cave trolls, but you shoot them enough, and then like a huge like Las Plagas comes out of its back, and Leon jumps onto the El Gigante's back, and you have to hammer a button to knife it, and each time you get on the Gigante's back, the button would change as well. Like sometimes for me it was
didn't on
Y, and
PS4,
sometimes for me it
always
was B.
square.
I may be
Interesting.
misremembering this, but I never jumped on their back.
You don't
You know
have
how
me-
you shoot
no,
them
me
enough and they
neither.
go.
I
Yeah,
never
you know
did
when they-
either.
Really?
No,
Yeah,
I just
never.
shot it.
Right, so you know when they go down on the floor and the thing comes out the back?
Yeah.
You can save yourself a ton of ammo. You go up to him, press a button, and he jumps on the back, and then you
Oh.
just hammer a button and he knifes it.
Well, fuck me. I just shot him with a shotgun a bunch of times.
Yeah. Could have saved yourself some ammo there, son.
Yeah.
Could have saved yourself some grenades, Tom.
Yeah.
I was using shotgun shell.
Pump, shoot. Pump
When you see
shoot.
Leon's face up, it gives you hail, it gives you hail. I'm gonna load up my motherfucking gun with a shotgun shell. If there's El Gigante, he's never gonna sleep, gonna wail. He's gonna get a face full of my motherfucking yo shotgun shell. That was the thing, man. I just didn't stop using that damn shotgun.
Tom, did you have that pre-written or did you just make that up on the fly?
No, I just made it up.
'Cause
I was
I'm-
impressed.
German rap career coming through there. It's impressive work, Tom. Very good. I like it.
But
Thanks,
yeah, the
mate.
quick time events, they lured me into a false sense of security all the time because I'd be watching a cutscene. You know, as you do, you kind of relax a little bit, don't you?
Check
and
your
then you
phone.
completely forget that one of them was going to happen. In fact, I hate Hazel laugh. No, I made Hazel laugh. I was sitting playing it in bed one night, and a cutscene came on. The cat came when I'm playing my Switch in the bed. Mickey will quite often come up and kind of just rub herself against the back of my Switch. So, like, I was playing and a cutscene came on. So, like, I was holding it in my left hand, and Mickey was there, so I started stroking her with my right hand while I was holding the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, suddenly a quick time event happened. I just went, oh, shit! And, like, the cat just scarpered across the room. I grabbed my Switch, and I nearly, like, fell over in the bed. I was like, ah!
Yeah, this is the same kind of thing happened to me. It was really, really annoying. I was like, I just want to sit down and enjoy the scene.
Mine is the cat. It happened to me as well. Yeah. You get
Krista
lulled
would
in
come
that
and press
process.
herself up against the back of the Switch.
It's annoying because I find the
Well, I
cutscene a
wasn't playing
time
on the
to
Switch, so that would be strange. But
put the system down and enjoy like a relaxing period of a bit of story dump. But it's like no,
go
you
on your
gotta
phone
be.
and browse Pornhub while it's on. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, you got
As you
cameras
do.
in my house. Yeah, definitely.
No, we all do it.
Let's see, what was the next boss after that? So there's the
Chief Mendez.
the big cheese.
We were fighting him in a burning barn.
Yeah, so earlier on I was mentioning about how I kind of mentioned but didn't go into anything, like how this, even though it's not really a horror game, it does still have quite a few horror tropes, and that whole thing of pushing the wardrobes in front of the doors so that, and then like them trying to break through, and there's that awesome section in the middle where Ashley's hidden in a cupboard, and you and Lewis are fighting them coming through the windows of the door. You're in that door that's isolated.
I
And-
enjoyed that bit. That was cool.
yeah, and it was proper like sort of Day of the Dead zombies coming and attacking kind of thing, where they were coming through the windows and you could block up the windows with the wardrobes again, and then they started coming up through the top through the ladders, and then they'd start throwing grenades through the windows and things like that. And that bit with the burning barn, that going in there and having this huge hulking creature coming towards you, because he kind of, I don't really know how to describe what he turns into. It's almost like kind of weird centipede.
Like
kind
a
of thing.
bipedal centipede.
Yeah, and the barn is on fire, and that's a very, very horror movie as well. It'd be like kind of, the final section of facing a horrible creature in a horror movie.
Yeah.
And these things are there. They definitely still try to keep that horror aspect of it. When you go on to something like Resident Evil 5, which I've referenced a few times already, most of that is in daylight, and you're armored to the fucking gills, and ammo up to the fucking gills, I should say. And you're there as this. I mean, Leon's obviously experienced, but when you play Resident Evil 5, you're fucking Chris Redfield, who's been on steroids for the past few years by the looks of it. He's a huge hulking figure, and you don't get this sense of horror at all from any of it. And as well, like some of the creatures in Resident Evil 5, not to go on too much of a tangent, they're just kind of blobs. Like
Yeah.
there's a thing called Ouroboros in it that you fight a few times. It's just like this weird kind of rotating mass of flesh, rather than kind of these creatures where, like, Chief Mendez turns into this horrible sort of bipedal millipede thing. And the horror tropes are definitely there. It's interesting.
Well, and you, for the first little bit of the game, actually get the impression that Mendez is the main antagonist.
Yeah, I was surprised how quickly he was killed off.
Yeah. So he was kind of, you find out later, he was Salazar's right-hand man.
Yeah, he's the big cheese, isn't he?
He's kind of the leader of the cult.
As Lewis calls him.
Yeah.
Impressive beard as well. I like his beard.
Yeah, he looks a little bit
Oh,
like Serge
yeah.
Tankian from System of a Down.
Yeah, he does.
So from there,
Yeah.
Did you guys know there's a secret cutscene you can have with him? When he kind of, you find him in that corridor, and he kind of sort of chokes you and then lets you go, and you go into the next room. If you go back in there, he kind of attacks you and stuff again, and he looks like he's going to kill you. But Ada saves you through the window, but you don't find out it's Ada.
So
You just get randomly saved by someone.
you know what we didn't mention is that Leon does at one point get captured and injected with Las Plagas. And they discover that it doesn't affect him because he has a special antigen in his blood to resist it. Or he is more capable of resisting it.
Yeah, because he has that one scene where he has a meltdown and blood.
His eyes get red.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
thought
they
that
also
was a bit of a
inject
cop-out
Ashley
there.
at the same time, don't they? Or has
Yes.
she already been injected?
Well, and then that's where Luis comes in. He's been sent by Umbrella? Or no. Who was sent by Umbrella to collect the sample? Was that Luis?
No, it's,
No, Luis is
Krauser
working
and
from- yeah.
Okay.
Ada have been
So-
sent by Wesker.
And
Luis
who
is
was
working
Luis
from
w-
the inside.
Who was Luis
I believe
for
he-
there then?
He's
He gets employed by Los Illuminados to do research into Las Plagas, I believe.
Yeah.
Got it.
Or something
Yeah,
like
that's right. And then when he realizes they're going to use him for the reasons
Lisa
they have,
for evil. He gets all fucking mardy about it.
That's right. So
But I was under the impression that Leon managed to resist it because of those pills that Lewis gave him.
He never takes
well, no,
them,
they
does
said something about his blood too. He said you have the same blood as us, which is why Mendez was able to resist it and control it, whereas all the other gonads just succumbed to it.
Whereas I thought that was something to do with the type of Las Plagas there is, because obviously there's the kind of Las Plagas that Sadler has, which controls all the rest of them. Which I've got a huge fucking wall of text in front of me to find what it's called, but it's like a leader plagas or something, and that could be the wrong one. I'd need to find it in here. But they, his actual staff, that kind of weird fleshy staff he has another one sort of inside that he then uses to stop him mutating, because he has the leader plagas in him, which would turn him into this huge hulking beast, which he does at the end. But it's something inside the staff, another plagas inside the staff that stops that from happening.
Gotcha.
So I assume that Mendez just had a similar thing like that, and he could control him, like just not a leader one, but something where he could, I don't know, later turn into a horrible beast.
From there, do you go to fight U3 or the Gyarados?
Gyarados aren't really.
It is a boss battle.
Yeah,
technically.
when you're fighting two of them at once when you first walk into the castle, there's two of them there, and you
Yeah.
kind of have to kite them around through the different corridors.
Blind Wolverine, isn't it?
Yeah,
We're talking about.
but they're Gyarados.
Yeah, Gyarados.
I like those guys because they were based around sound, and there was always a bell in the room that you could go and hit with your knife, and then that would send them over there.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't do that.
they were
I
creepy
just
as well
used to run
because
away and then wait for them to meander around and shoot them in the back because they've got a parasite on the back to shoot.
well, if you didn't run, they couldn't hear where you were going.
Yeah.
So if you walk, so that was always a really creepy thing when they were coming when they started doing that meandering and you just started walking past them. To get back
yeah.
behind them was always cool. Then there's what I mentioned earlier. There's Verdugo.
Well, Verdugo was after the U3 boss battle, wasn't he?
Which one's U3?
E3 is
the-
like it.
yeah.
Yeah, they call them like.
No, it's much later on.
It's much later. Yeah, it's on the island.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, Verdugo just kind of fucking came out of nowhere.
Oh, it's
Well, he's one of Salazar's things, isn't he?
that's an
Yeah,
awesome
but he looks
boss
like
battle.
Predator.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
It's a really cool boss battle, though. That one, I thought it was.
more resi, that boss
It
battle.
is.
I'm not sure I really liked that because it wasn't really as a boss battle as much as it was just survive until the elevator gets here.
It was.
You can kill him, though.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
See, and I made the
Apparently,
mistake of
what you
running.
should- what you should do before that fight, I didn't know this, is have a rocket launcher, and then if you shoot him, he dies. So,
Does he really?
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Did
I
you not
used
use
a
the
ton of ammo
canisters,
on him.
Eric?
What, Mike?
Eric, did you not use the canisters?
Yeah, you can tip over the nitrogen canisters and
Yeah.
then freeze him a little bit, but he didn't die.
Yeah, when
No,
you
but-
shoot when he's frozen, you can shoot him.
Yeah,
it takes
you
a hell of a lot of ammo, but you can kill him.
I made the
You got-
mistake of running directly to the elevator and then just standing there going, "Oh my god, hurry
Oh,
up,
no.
hurry up, hurry up, hurry up." I
you-
wasted a lot of health on that.
Knock over the canisters. There's a few canisters in the corridor. When you come out of that room, there's a bunch that you can knock over. He gets frozen. Shotgun shell to the head. About 20 of them, if I'm honest. And then 20 each canister. But yeah, you can take him down. I just thought it was kind of cool because it was in that first section, when you come into those corridors, you get like a first-person view. It cuts away, and there's a first-person view of something that's obviously chasing you, or coming for you. And then you come back to the old QuickTime stuff of trying to dodge his attacks through the ceiling and through the floor, stuff like that. So it's kind of like quite a lot to it. I thought it was interesting.
I just love that bit because Leon obviously has one run speed, and this thing is stalking him, and he just does like a brisk walk at best to get away from this thing. Like, you'd be sprinting down that corridor as fast as you could, wouldn't you, really?
Yep. Let's be honest.
If only he'd had that extra day of training.
It wasn't very good at the bleep test.
Come to the morning routine. Then after that is... That's when
Creepy Napoleon, isn't it?
Salazar.
Yeah, I think it is Creepy Napoleon.
I liked this battle. This battle was cool. It was really easy to cheese, though.
Yeah,
was it?
Stood in the middle, shoot the eye, then shoot him.
No, see, I stood way off on the side. So the first thing I did, I was really low on ammo coming into this battle. So you run in, and there's a few treasure chests, and you can go down. There's a bunch of barrels to collect. Go down, collect all the ammo, come back up, and if you stand on either side of the semicircle and just shoot the tentacle as it comes out, that tentacle will recede, and then you have a shot at his eye, and then you can shoot Salazar from the side. But if you're all the way in the corner, the tentacle will never hit you.
Oh, wow.
Regardless of what it does.
I didn't know
really
that.
hit me in the middle either.
Oh, he hit me in the middle all the
See,
time.
it hit me in the middle too, because he'll do that sweeping motion and kind of do most of the semicircle. So what happens when you're in the corners, he'll land next to you and go down to the other side, but it never hits you.
You could actually go down to the floor below as well.
Yeah, but
You
there's
could,
little
but I never
spiderlings.
did. Yeah, there were. Oh, I hate those.
And they kept respawning.
What did?
The little spiderlings down there, they kept respawning.
No, I didn't go down there, so I never saw
Yeah,
it.
I didn't realize this, but I've just been reading up about the bosses on like a Resident Evil wiki, and it goes into some stuff about Salazar himself and that huge thing that him and the Verdugos goes into is basically a Queen Plaga. It's his job to basically protect that, and the Queen Plaga just asexually produces new plagas constantly, which is why they sort of reproduce at the bottom. I didn't realize that.
Oh, interesting.
Well, and doesn't God, I'm drawing a blank on the main guy's name. He plays off
Sadler?
Sadler plays off of Salazar's dwarfism and advanced aging to kind of lure him into this cult and to follow him.
Yeah, this is from the Resident Evil wiki. It says, taking advantage of his young and isolated state, Salazar was approached by Sadler, who provided him with an insight into Los Illuminados, a modern cult sharing the name of an ancient one stamped out by Salazar's ancestor. Salazar fully accepted Sadler's claim to being a prophet. The mythology of Los Illuminados considers Salazar's family to be tainted by sin ever since the first Castellan sealed the plagas in the ruins. And it goes on to basically Salazar was determined to atone for that sin and let Sadler go in and kind of mine these things out. And then Sadler was researching them, and Salazar was granted one of the several genetically modified dominant species plagas, which would grant Salazar full control over his own body and the ability to order around the other hosts.
Salazar was an atrocious character, though. He was so bad.
Do you not like his giant statue?
That was the part, and I think I sent you guys a message about this. That's where I got to the part I'm like, okay,
This is stupid.
this is fucking dumb. Like, it hit a point. I was able to suspend my disbelief with all of this. Like, this definitely is a Resident Evil game. All right, okay, now I'm running away from a gigantic animatronic concrete statue. This is dumb.
It was dumb. But I'm talking specifically about, like, his interactions with Leon, because we've mentioned before Leon's dialogue was terrible, but so is Salazar's. And then they had all these radio contact scenes where it was just so...
And how did they get his
so
channel?
bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting thing about those radio cutscenes. So the actual characters themselves, including Hunnigan, who you never see outside of the radio contact screens, they're actually they're full 3D models of the character. And if you take that, like if you get Leon's screen and Hunnigan's screen next to each other, there's people who's like modded the camera on the game to look round, and essentially the two character models are just stood there next to each other, and then that screen is just put over like in front of them for you to see.
Oh, interesting. A lot of games are done like that, actually. You'd be surprised.
That's cool.
Where they put For example, the title screen might just be they've used perspective to make things look like they're behind each other. And it's real interesting how it's done. It's all a lot of game development is camera work and how things come together.
Then you have to, like you said, Mike, before, you have to fight the Gigantes again. You have the Gigante twins, and you have El Gigante 2, who you're running through a kind of a ravine away from, with Ashley in tow. We didn't talk about the escort missions.
Yeah, you weren't happy to get there, were you?
I was not.
Oh, no.
Fortunately, she's not as dumb,
No, she's not bad, actually.
and you can tell her
You
to
know what?
wait.
For an AI character in this era, she is fantastic.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of escort missions I have done over the years. I didn't struggle with Ashley at all.
She's particularly fragile, though, especially with bullets to the head.
You know what?
Yeah.
I have never
I
on
killed her
any
by
playthrough
accident
of
as well.
this. I've said several times already. I've only ever finished this twice, but I've played this game a few times. Like, there's been a few times where I've started it and not finished it, and I have never, ever accidentally
killed
Ashley.
her so many times.
Even
I
on
did
that moment
twice.
where you have to shoot the bars off her, where she's imprisoned, right? This time, I think I accidentally killed her at least 4 or 5 times, and I don't know why.
The
So-
only time I frequently managed to kill her was when, when she goes up the ladders to run over to pull various levers to get to raise the bridge from the border.
Yes, I killed her then as well.
Yes, I killed her a few times there. So that's really difficult.
Mine was usually when she was stood too close to me.
I usually killed her when she got captured, because the Gonads would try to come and pick her up and carry her off. And as soon as they exited the area that you were in, technically it was game over. So you could just shoot them. They would drop her, and she would just kind of sit there, and you'd have to kill the people around her. I would always just take my shotgun, turn, and blast it, and she would die. Instead of switching to a pistol, aiming.
But I loved. I've said she was all right, but I loved the sections where she actually buggered off, and you were just by yourself.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That was great.
But like you said, Dan, like in terms of escort mission AI for that time, like she's not overly intrusive. You can get her to stop where you needed to. You can get her to hide in bins and stuff like that.
I never
as
put her
well.
in a bin. I wanted to.
She's not, there's some
did a couple
sections
of
where
times.
there's these bins there and you can just go through, kill everyone, and then go back for her.
Yeah, I know, but...
In fact, you don't even have to go back for her. He ends up whistling for her.
does he?
Yeah.
Shit.
There was a specific... Right, do you know after the house in the middle with Lewis, you know you get a choice of going 2 different directions. One, and they tell you, one has a load of Gonads and one has Gigante.
yeah.
Yes.
I did both sections because if you do both, you get another jewel to put into one of the items earlier, so you can sell it for more earlier. So I did both bits. And if you go the way the Gonads are, there's one there because it's the bit where there's it looks like a fighting pit in the middle of the barn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and there's one there. You just literally put her in the bin there and then go and kill everything and then go back for her.
I did the same.
Oh, I did that too.
One of the things I wanted to say about the Ashley, what this ties in with Leon as well, is why can't anybody in this game go down a ladder? They have to jump off the ledge. Even if you, for example, in the first area where the church was, if you climb up the ladder to the bell tower, Leon will jump off the top of that
How
ladder.
good
It's
are
quite-
his knees?
It's quite
It's
far.
probably about 30 feet in the air and he doesn't break his legs. And then when you get Ashley, you have to jump off the ladder, then wait at the bottom of the ladder for her to jump off the ledge so you can catch her, rather than her just climbing down the ladder.
One of my favorite unlockables in this game that you can get is one of the alternate costumes for Ashley is literally a suit of armor. And she's like fully in this like just metal suit of armor, and she moves quite slowly, but she's completely invincible.
Jeez.
And when the Gonads try and pick her up to kidnap her, they can't. They hurt their back. And then on those sections where Leon has to catch her, when he catches her, he'll like as he gets up, he's like oh, and like holding his back as well with that.
There's also another one where when she's got that on, if you aim at her face, the visor comes down.
Yeah, because she normally cowers.
Amazing.
But she also, if you're like on a level below her and aim towards her crotch, she'll call you a pervert and cover up her crotch and stuff as well. So they didn't sexualize her too much. They did stop you looking up her pants on purpose.
Yeah, they just wait for the scripted upskirt shots.
Yeah. So what else we got left? Then there was It, which is U3,
Fuck this
which
thing.
is It's a horrible looking. Like in terms of some of the earlier Resident Evil like designed
What was
creatures,
this one?
thing is terrifying.
It was the one where you're trapped in those 3 containers, and you have to shoot various switches to unlock the door to go through the next section. Yeah,
And then you have to fight him afterwards.
Yeah, not
Yes. No.
fun. Not fun at all.
I don't even know how to describe this for an audio listener. Like it's just a horrific thing.
A monstrosity.
It looks
Yeah.
kind of like an ant
Big ugly bastard.
with crab legs and
This guy
a
down.
centaur top with centipede face.
Yeah, a mix of different horrible insects rolled into one.
Yeah.
And then there's Krauser after that,
Sauerkraut.
which
Good old Krauser.
I
The
used
horrible
to really
the horrible quick time battle was terrible.
struggle with, and didn't find him too hard this time.
You could cheese him real easy with a knife. Real easy.
Once cheese knife.
Yes.
You are actually, I think you meant to use the knife because it kills them really quickly, and they are basically knife buddies, as we see in the scenes before that. They always fight with knives, and I think
Well,
it
that would
ties
make
into
sense.
that.
I really dislike this character because he's suddenly just introduced, and it almost makes you feel like you're supposed to know who he is. And it always used to bug me back in the day. I was like, did I miss something? Because, like I said, I was a big fan of Resident Evil back in the day. I played Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil Code Veronica, and then I got round to this one, and I was one of those people who used to look into the lore of it and, you know, where certain characters were during certain events, during certain games and things like that. And I never, ever, ever saw anything about Krauser. So when I came to, have I missed something? Like, should I know this guy? And it's just, all you're given is that him and Leon used to be in the military together. And then you get a little tidbit about, you know, Leon thought he was dead and he's not, and here he is. And just, I don't know. What is going on with Tom, man?
I don't know. He keeps dropping out.
Yeah, weird. But yeah, and then you've got your final boss, which is Sadler, who's a giant, almost like kind of spider kind of creature.
It's
Did
kind
any
of
of you
cool
guys-
boss fight though, because you can use the environment and hit him with scaffolding and stuff, which is kind of cool.
Which
Did
is,
you use that? I didn't know you could hit him with stuff in the environment. God,
You're too
all I
busy
did was
throwing
just
grenades at him, mate. That's why.
Yeah, you got to go up and pull some levers, and it hits him. It swings a crane around and hits him.
I was just using the blade. You know, I would just be there giving him.
bullshit.
470
I did. I used the
stabs
knife
later.
the whole time.
You did.
Did you guys not use the knife the whole time with Krauser?
No, you didn't.
Oh, we're on.
Oh,
we're
with
on the side of
Krauser,
the-
we're
we're
on to
on.
the last boss
We're
now.
on to.
Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. Yeah. I was like, hang on a second. Right. Yeah, no. Grenades. Oh, and the rocket launcher at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
the
cutscene.
special
rocket
rocket launcher.
The old
scripted.
typical Resident Evil thing of being thrown a rocket launcher at the last moment.
And then, of course, the island is set to self-destruct.
Yeah.
And how
then,
fucking
yeah.
annoying was that jet ski scene at the end?
It's so fucking janky.
Oh,
It's like
so-
the Battletoads turbo tunnel.
You can tell that the jet ski's not the thing that's moving, but it's the environment that's moving around instead.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It's such a like poor ending to like
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
Totally
gameplay wise,
unnecessary.
poor ending of like a game that, you know, all the way through you've had such enjoyment, and then you have this weird.
Well, I was playing it really late at night, and I just wanted to go to bed. And I was sitting there with Kristen, like, I actually want to fucking quit now. She's like, you're right at the end. Like, I want to quit. This sucks. It probably took me 15 tries to get through it.
Wow.
Oh, so bad.
Took me two.
Two.
Took me two.
Nope.
Two
It
tries.
took me a ton. Because I just kept
And you have
holding
the-
forward.
and you
I'm
have
like,
this-
let's just get through this.
Have this stupid scene where Ashley basically tries it on with Leon. He's like, no.
And he's like, nah.
You know what I love about this scene though, right? She's like, "Oh yeah, do you want to do some overtime?" And he's like,
That's what she
"Nah." And he basically kind of implies, and she gets it, like, "Oh yeah, who is that woman?" So it's implied that, oh, he's obviously hung up over Ada, so he doesn't want anyone else. And then moments later, he's on the radio to Hunnigan, and Hunnigan for some reason is no longer wearing her glasses, and he starts flirting with her.
I don't like
Whilst
this,
he's sat on
Leon.
the jet ski with Ashley.
It's so random.
He literally says something about taking her out, or you could be mistaken for being hot without your glasses, or
I
something
said
like
this
that.
to you in the WhatsApp chat, lads. He's had enough of a screaming Leon already throughout the entirety of this game. He doesn't want any more. All right, he's
Like,
not
Ashley
interested in
fucking
that
shot
overtime.
down, man.
Poor
Didn't like her
Ashley.
ballistics.
Take your ballistic somewhere else, love. We're done.
But kind of a wrap up of the story. Krauser and Ada. Well, Ada's working for, well, supposedly working for Wesker, so is Krauser, and Krauser was the one who kidnapped the president and stuff, and then basically Leon stops the entire threat and takes them home. There's nothing too...
Saves the
much
world.
that brings in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saves the world. Saves the town and the crown and Mr.
Saves
Krabs.
the world.
So
Take
I will say
Leon home.
I will say this.
Yeah. Go on.
I really enjoyed this game. Is it the best Resident Evil game? No, it's not even a Resident Evil game, but it is a great game.
Would you argue that it's up there with some of the greatest games of all time? Because this is
No.
often put on those lists.
No.
I wouldn't.
Tom's
I
giving
just-
a thumbs
I
up.
thought it was fine.
It was
It's up
fun,
there, man.
It's
Fucking
definitely
up
a
there.
product of its time. I think it's one of those that people look back with a little bit more nostalgia than
No.
reality.
No.
But
People,
here's my question to you, Eric, because you have obviously been the hardest. I thought you were going to be the hardest one to convince with this. If someone said to you now, thinking of playing Resident Evil 4, would you, because before you would have dug your heels in and gone, ugh, Resident Evil, like, would you just go, yeah, fucking play it?
Yeah, I'd say play it, but don't expect it to be a Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
I will stand by
You don't-
that statement. This is not a Resident Evil game.
Yeah, and I've never argued with that.
It's a really good,
Contrary
really
to
fun
popular
action
belief.
game. And as soon as you disconnect it from the Resident Evil franchise, it becomes infinitely more enjoyable. Because I always used to play the Resident Evil games for the Resident Evil story, the T-Virus and Umbrella and the conspiracies and the zombies, and this isn't that. This was too far of a left turn. So for me, Resident Evil ends with Code Veronica still.
Well, Resident Evil, you've not played 5, have you?
No.
5 is more of an action game than this, but in terms of the story, it does link back into stuff to do with like viruses and stuff like that. But it combines the two. It combines the Plagueis and the viruses. and
Wasn't
stuff
5 the
in.
one that got a bunch of backlash because you're in Africa just mowing down tribes of Africans?
Well, interesting story. This is the reason why Resident Evil 5 ended up being multiplayer, because it's based in Africa, and obviously Chris Redfield, white guy, went in there shooting a load of Africans, and then that is when they introduced Sheva, who was from that region, and
She's mowing them
because they
down
had
too.
to-
She's like, look,
yeah, she's mowing him down too. It's
look,
fine.
it's okay. I'm killing them
Apparently.
too.
Yeah, so that's why Resident Evil 5 ended up multiplayer, because of that, which is interesting. I've never played Resident Evil 5 multiplayer. I'd like to do it one day. Maybe
I'll
one
give
of
it a
you guys.
go with you.
If I play it with Dan, I'll be done in 30 minutes. So
I played it co-op once, but I didn't finish it because my brother just then left. Not the planet or anything, just went somewhere else.
well, when we're in Vegas, we'll bring a copy of Resident Evil 5. That's what you two can do. Yeah. Finish what you started, Mike Reagan. But no, like, I wouldn't agree that this is one of the greatest games of all time.
No.
It is a great game, though, and I would recommend it to anyone. The one thing that I think this game really establishes, and I mentioned this to Tom the other day, I think this game just has... There is a little bit of a difficulty spike when you first get to the castle, don't get me wrong, but I think this game has fantastic pacing.
It does.
All the way
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It really does.
They give you enough time to catch your breath, and they're like, all right, right back in it.
So are we giving it a
Definitely.
hearty pip or just a pip?
I'll give it a hearty pip. I enjoyed it. I
Would
put
you
in
say-
Daniel?
13 hours.
I enjoyed it a lot.
20
Again,
hours.
probably one of the better games
Jesus,
we've played
Tom.
in a while.
20 hours, man. I don't know what happened.
Oh, that's so long.
Spent
I
all
know.
that time trying to fit your stuff in your inventory without turning them.
I've got OCD as well, where I would like put all the grenades in one place, all the herbs in one place, and I'm a nightmare. I just like.
What about you, Tom? Your sort of thoughts?
Honestly, I chose the game. I always forget that I chose the game for this show, even though I think collectively we all were kind of excited to play it because of difference of opinion, and also it is one of those games that's held up there in high regard. And I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy it or not, because I tend to duck out early on Resident Evil games because I just can't get through them, or I just get really stuck or get frustrated with them. But every time I wasn't playing this game, I really was thinking about playing this game, and that doesn't happen too often. Definitely doesn't happen very much in adult life. But it really had me. I was
It's like
really
Wreckfest.
always
When
excited
you're not
to play
playing
it.
Wreckfest, you're thinking about Wreckfest.
Yeah, always thinking of Wreckfest. Let's be honest. And
When you're doing Wreckfest, you think about Wreckfest as well.
yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. For me, was the best game we played this year for the show.
You loved it more than Kingdom Hearts?
Jesus. Better than Gex?
Ghost. No, which one was the really good one? What was that really, really good one that we played? The one with the kid. The fucking kid, man. The cartoon. What was it?
Mark
Little
Cree?
sword. He has a sword that unlocks doors.
Oh,
What is
the Golden
it?
Kid.
What is it?
The
One of you
Golden
said it
Kid.
just now.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts. That's the one.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that game. I know that. All right, I know there's fans. There's lots of fans. People who listen to this show, if you love Kingdom Hearts, you all good. All good.
Comes Tom's
all,
negative
it's all
review.
love.
Join the party.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But yeah, like you say it. I think you've kind of nailed it, Mike. Yeah, the pacing is on point. I always felt like there was going to be times where I would really struggle, but I would find a way through, and I like that. I like that little bit of challenge. Like, I was dying a lot, but I was always like, okay, I can figure this out. I can, some of the deaths were unjustified, like quick time events and stuff, but for the most part, it was a really nice learning experience. And the nice little lick of horror at the end that really was terrifying for me didn't stick around too long, but it was like enough. It had everything I needed from a game. That's my thoughts.
Party pip from Tom.
Yeah. I've already pip.
Enjoyment all round, I would say. Yeah, good choice.
Well done, Tom.
I
Good choice.
apologize for my obstinance over the past 9 years.
We're used to it, don't worry.
Christ, Eric, apologise.
Yes.
Write down, everyone.
Why don't you know
before-
what's Eric? Put the music
my
in.
pink marker. I was flipping it and it fell away. I can't reach it. Sorry, no more notes.
Before we go on to listener questions, can we please just ghost attack slightly over Resident Evil 3? So I'm excited. Resident Evil 3 remake next year, coming out on that same engine that Resident Evil 2 was, the RE engine.
Going on
I'm
base.
very excited.
I'm
I
surprised
just
they
pre-ordered
churned it
it.
out so quickly. I thought they'd go for Resi 8 first,
No
then do
way.
this.
No way. They're going to capitalize.
Rumor has it, Daniel, I don't know if this is true, apparently 2 and 3 remake were in development at the same time. They were hoping to release them like kind of as a dual pack, and apparently it got delayed, and then that's why Resident Evil 2 came out. We didn't hear about it for ages, and suddenly it kind of jumped back on E3 and then was coming out. They just decided to release them separately. I don't know how true this is, but
I enjoyed how they did the bait and switch by announcing Project Resistance, then announcing that Project Resistance is in fact a component of Resident Evil 3. I
that was
loved that. I
brilliant.
thought that was really well done.
Yeah.
When they first started showing it, I was a little concerned that they were going to take Resi 3 down the road of Resident Evil 7 and make it first person, but then it just turned into, that
I
being...
don't think they can.
Yeah.
Now, I do have my concerns. The main thing I'm concerned about...
fair
No,
enough.
my main concern, right. So, the original Resident Evil 2, the original one, all of the things with Mr. X, they were all scripted events. He didn't stalk you around like he does in the remake, right? The original Resident Evil 3, there were scripted events with Nemesis, and there were scripted moments, not scripted, so to speak, but there were only very specific moments where he would chase you, like certain scenes at certain points and things like that. But it did feel kind of random. They've already done the Mr. X thing in Resident Evil 2 where he follows you around all of the time. I am concerned that Nemesis is going to feel far too much like Mr. X.
But Nemesis runs, motherfucker.
That
he
is
runs.
fucking true. Yeah, and he has a rocket launcher. I'll give you that. But I'm a little bit concerned.
No, I
that
know
that
what you
is
mean.
that is where we're heading with that. And I don't want it to feel like it's just it's like a reskinned Mr. X. That's what I'm concerned about.
Have you seen they've added things into Resident Evil 2, which show Resident Evil 3 now? Like a little tease for it.
My game did
In the
update.
demo of Resi 2, you can find a letter which links to Resi 3, and on the actual game of Resi 2, there's a certain section where you go near a door or a window, and outside you can just hear Nemesis go, "Stars!"
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did not know
So
that.
really, really cool, because Resident Evil 3 is a prequel to Resident Evil 2.
Yep.
It's a prequel and a sequel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Space before and after. Yeah.
But-
But yeah, I'm excited. Anyway, shall I go on
me
to listener
too.
questions?
Me too.
Please do.
There was quite a few comments on here about Dan's Eric's head thing, so I had to find the actual
It was a
questions.
good one. It was a good one.
Russell Schaefer's, how much time will/has Ashley spent screaming at you for ladder upskirt shenanigans? Which one of you was the pervert?
Not once for me, actually.
No, not once for me.
No.
Okay.
Not at
I'm a
all.
respectable Leon. I follow the directions of women.
Steve Burton, I remember
directions.
playing through this on the Wii using the Magnum controller holder from the House of the Dead Overkill that slots the Wiimote in so it works like a gun. I think this was the only time I ever found an actual use for one of those Wiimote holders, apart from the Mario Kart wheel, that actually made a game more fun. Did anyone else ever try this?
That's how I
Maybe
played
that's
it.
why you could have had... Oh, you did try that?
Mm-hmm. I had one of those House of the Dead gun controllers where the Wiimote slaps in the top and then the Joy-Con clicks into the back and you can rotate it around. I did not enjoy it.
Did you try it without it
Sounds
as well?
fun, man.
Yeah, I just
yeah,
did
that
not.
sounds cool.
Interesting. Not a question, but Russell Schaefer's did say I expect Eric to go through the trouble of purchasing a chainsaw controller for this.
Zach was looking for one. He was going to send it to me, but those things are
That sounds like
super
the
hard.
worst way to play a game.
Oh, have you
ever.
seen them, Dan?
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
Oh, they're incredibly ugly.
David Merkel, is there any truth to the rumor that the village and the townspeople were modelled after Het?
Confirmed.
It's possible.
Can confirm, yes. We have a cult.
I was sure for a little while I was living down the road from some Los Gonados. This house I used to live in Lincoln, down the road, there was, I'm not sure what nationality they were, but like there was this old lady living with them who like wore kind of, the old lady garb that the Los Gonados wear.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
wore that, the
Like
kind
the
of
Quaker outfits.
Yeah, almost. And quite often she'd be just like sat on the living room window, just cackling and saying things in it was an Eastern European language. I'm not sure what it was, but I'm pretty sure. Like, I was terrified, if I'm honest. Santos Lopez, has Eric had a chance to play through Greedfall yet, and what do you think of it?
I have not. And actually,
Sealed.
when we were talking about the gaming slump, I looked at my shelf and I saw Greedfall there, still sealed. I think I might pop that in today.
Nice. I'd be
That one
interested to
will
hear
not
what
be
it's
staying
like.
sealed because I do really want to play it.
Yeah.
Okay. Colin Niblo, he's got a two-part question. I'll do it bit by bit. So first bit, where do you rank this in the series?
I don't rank it in the series because it's not a Resident Evil game.
Okay.
Last.
Third.
I'd say it. Resi 2 and
Oh, shit, I
Resi
don't
3
know.
are products of their age, and they haven't aged brilliantly, but so I kind of enjoyed this one a little bit more than those two, because I don't have the nostalgia for those. I've played them a little bit when I was younger, but I was too much of a pussy to actually finish them. So
I think.
I really liked this one.
Yeah, me too. I think my nostalgia says that Nemesis is my favorite, even though that is definitely not many people's favorite. And then probably the second would be the RET remake,
Okay.
or just 2 in general.
Yeah.
And then this one. I think those are my top 3. I think.
And expanding on that, just top of your head, guys. Expanding on that, what would you do as your top 5?
Honestly, I would do 2, 3, Code Veronica, 1, and then this.
Code Veronica above this and the original. Wow.
Yeah.
You like Code
I
Veronica?
like
I've played
Code Veronica.
5.
What's that, Dan?
I don't think I've played 5.
I haven't played 5 either.
I've played.
No,
Yeah,
like 5 games. I don't think I've played
Oh.
5 Resident Evil games.
it's hard to rank. I guess I would chuck in the last 2 slots. The only ones I've played, which would be 5 and 0. Yeah.
And for certain reasons, I'm not going to answer either of those questions now. Right. At what exact point in the playthrough did Eric... this is from Matt LaFlame, sorry. At what exact point in the playthrough did Eric realise he was wrong about RE4? And afterwards, did he run through town like the ending of It's a Wonderful Life, screaming, Resident Evil 4 is amazing, and spreading holiday cheer to all townsfolk with his new lease on life?
This pains me. It was shortly after the lake battle where, after you get through the first Gigante fight and things started to click. Started upgrading weapons and just, yeah.
It helps with later on in the game when you need precision aiming to shoot like on the bosses, the little eye or the little, but you have to, once you're 10 hours in, that's you've got the controls down. If you had to do precision aiming stuff early on, God, that would have been frustrating.
Yeah, see, it would have been really easy for me to just go into this and be like, I'm gonna fucking hate this, I'm gonna bitch about it the entire time. But I took the time, I approached it and went, all right, let's be realistic about this. Yeah, it's not Resident Evil, but I have to not play it like a Resident Evil game, and became more methodical with it and started to really enjoy the combat system. So once I did that is when it kind of dawned on me, like, you know what, this really isn't that bad.
Yeah, I honestly thought you were going to hate it still. Because you got to the point where the controls start to click before even I did. And I thought you were going to hate it because you were bitching about it the entire time. Like, I can't believe feels like this.
Yeah. 90% of that was me just poking the bear and dumping fuel on the fire.
Oh, I thought you were actually kind of really struggling with the controls. Because I know I did at the start. I struggled just getting used to them again.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Why can't Leon move?
The fuck is this? What kind of special agent are you? Son of a bitch can't move his feet and move his fingers at the same time?
It's funny. It took all the way until
that extra day of training.
God damn, son.
Hey,
Just because you get vacation days at a new job doesn't mean take them right away.
But yeah, Resident Evil 6 was the first Resident Evil game to be able to shoot and run at the same time.
I know it's not generally considered good in any way, but I actually do want to play 6.
Sorry, Tom?
I do actually want to play 6 just to see what it's like. It actually looks really nice, but I'm sure it's just not a particularly... I'm sure it's not... That one probably isn't a Resident Evil game.
I think
but
I
it's
remember
by
it
whatever
has
craze.
loads of different chapters.
So
Loads of different characters.
the skinny on 6 is there is 3 different character pairs. So there's Leon and some of the last I can't remember the name of. There's Chris and a new character. And then there's...
Is Jill in this one?
Sherry and another character as
Oh.
well. So there's 3 different campaigns that you do with these pairs, and it's multiplayer as well. You can do them, and they all there's certain points of the games where like the campaigns cross over. So there'll be like there's a certain section where the characters end up meeting up with each other, and you face a similar boss. But the thing is, when you go through the campaigns, all 3 campaigns, you end up doing those same bosses again because you do those same sections again, where all the characters come together. And the whole thing is kind of like a big disjointed mess, and the whole
Interesting.
like on Leon's campaign, for example, towards the very end of it, this is kind of spoilery, but not like there's a bio attack on the city, and the whole city goes mental, and then there's these huge like fucking ridiculous hulking creatures that like even for Resident Evil, you're like, this is just getting fucking stupid now, and these huge action set pieces, and it really, if you think this isn't Resident Evil, Eric, play Resident Evil 6.
Yeah.
And in fact, the best part
That's
for
what
me
I've
of
heard.
Resident Evil 6, there's an unlockable campaign where you play as just a character by themselves, and which they then patched in a random other character so you could play it multiplayer. But that is the best part of it, the unlockable one, because that has like some little feelings of kind of old Resident Evil with some puzzles and stuff. But it takes you to go through 3 other campaigns to get to it. I know. I'd like to play it multiplayer with you, Tom, and see how you feel.
Yeah, me too. I would too. Why not? Why the fuck not?
Any more questions?
That's it.
That's it. All right. Well, coming up next week already, our Game of the Year show.
Actually, next week. Not the Factory Sealed next week,
No,
which usually
this
means
is
2 weeks.
actually next week because we bumped this show a week. Next week, Game of the Year show. Boys, prep. That's going to be a long one.
Oof.
That is going to be a long one.
Saddling. Catheters in, boys. Nappies on.
Well, I'm going to order a bedpan. Get a coffee pot up here.
Good idea.
This is one of my favorite shows of the year. Always is.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be great. So we'll probably have a couple different categories on there, but we each choose our top 10 games of the year, whether or not it's something we played for the show or just in general.
And it doesn't have to have been released this year at all. We just have to have played it.
have to have put our eyeballs on it.
Yep.
And then after that,
I
we're
can't
going to...
wait to hear Tom's list of
shit nobody's ever heard of.
games we've never heard of and Death Stranding.
Just you wait, son. Just you wait.
I already have a solid prediction as to what Tom's Game of the Year is.
It's gonna be like everything everyone's heard of. So it's gonna be like Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty,
Yeah.
Tomb Raider,
Wild,
FIFA 20.
Kingdom Hearts.
Gran Turismo,
Yeah,
I think I know Tom's top game as well.
Yeah.
I think I do.
NBA Jam.
I don't think you do. I don't reckon you guys do know.
Oh, I guarantee I know what it is. I would
We should
be
all write
interested.
down predictions for each other.
I will put money that I know what yours is.
What is number one?
Interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll
I think
take.
I think it's one of two.
We'll take bets at the beginning of the next show. But then after that, we are kicking off
right.
the new year with a lengthy game recommended by Santos Lopez, Dot Hack Infection. And let me tell you what, I started that yesterday. That is a weird game.
It is.
That is a weird game.
Is it a
I
JRPG?
haven't told you guys yet because I messaged Eric about it, but I can't currently play it because my third-party PS2 controller will not work with this game properly. So you will move in.
Dan skimped on the cash, not gone for the official controller, and here it is, biting him in
Honestly,
the ass.
it's the official controller in all but name. It just doesn't have the Sony print on, so
Only
it is
one.
identical.
It's the official
not-
controller, but it's not official.
You can't get them anymore.
Used?
Get one off eBay. I managed to get an official GameCube one off eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but used.
So?
Just get
You could have
a
jizzed on
get
it
a
or
bacterial
anything.
wipe and just go.
Yeah. Get a little sandy wipe and you'll be fine.
I'm going to have to, so I've ordered a proper one. Anyway.
So if anybody's going to play through this with it, Mike, are you going to play this one?
Yeah, I do want to, like, because I know Santos has wanted us to play this for a long, long time, and I know he sent you all his games
Yeah.
and said, please just play it. Apology in advance, Santos. I've just moved house. I'm going to try and play as much as I can, but I'm probably not going to get it finished because I'm not going to have a lot of time over these next couple of weeks. I don't get time off over the holidays like most people as well, so I'm still working. So
Just a little
apologies in advance if I don't get very far, but I'm going to give it the old college try, as Eric says.
just a little teaser as to what it is. It is a simulation of somebody playing a simulation of an MMO.
What?
Yeah.
exactly.
It is a weird game.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm going to gold line this and follow the guide that Santos sent me because I think I would struggle with this just going straight through. I'm about an hour in, have no fucking clue what's going on. Not a clue.
I
We
chased
thought
around the
Kingdom
goblin,
Hearts was
but
gonna
I
be
couldn't
difficult,
chase him properly because my controller.
You want to go left? No, you're going right.
Oh, one of the. This is just going back to RE4 for a second in controls. There was a bug in the GameCube version that's been patched out on the remasters and stuff, where sometimes if you loaded up your save, like he wouldn't go forward, he'd just go sideways, and you had to reload it again.
Crab mode.
You know what you know what we didn't talk about?
What?
The extra separate ways.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we just need to touch on that before we end here.
Yeah.
And that was not included in the original GameCube release. That was in the PS2 release and all subsequent.
Yes, it was.
And what it is it's a 5-part series where you play through as Ada, and it's her going alongside Leon. So at the very beginning, you'll see in the main village Leon running around with the characters, which I thought was super cool. You
thought it
see
was
him
awesome,
kiting all
yeah.
the people around, and you're kind of manipulating the environment and come across him at key points. So it does clip through the entirety of the game much faster.
Isn't it revealed
just-
like Ada is the one who rings the church bell at the beginning? Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yep.
And
That's the
stuff.
first chapter
Yeah.
you do is you ring the church bell.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. So you get this whole different perspective in the same campaign, but obviously it does
I
skip
just-
ahead.
I just didn't want to play through it because it didn't differentiate itself enough from the main game. It was very, very similar. So it was just more of the same, but with a different character.
Yeah, but you
So-
got to
It's
see certain
interesting to
events
see
from the
where
other
she-
side.
Yeah.
where she makes things different in Leon's stuff. Like and like Eric said, it's only a couple of hours, so
What was
Yeah.
really
If you're
dumb, though,
that
is like
stuck
in
for
the,
games.
the upstairs room with the shotgun, you can't take the shotgun because she's like, oh, I better leave that for Leon. But then in the glass case next to her, you'll break that open and take a pack of shotgun shells. But in Leon's game, it's still there. So-
Nanomachine's son.
No,
but it's
Wait,
way
wrong
harder.
series.
Did you notice how much more difficult it was?
But you get 2 other weapons. You get a pump action shotgun and a bow gun with explosive darts.
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 Arrows.
You ever noticed in Resident Evil games, it's like for some reason they only ever give bow guns to female characters?
Hell yeah, because they're
I never
badass.
noticed.
Really strange choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird. I
Leon
never
doesn't
noticed
trust
that.
his women with bow guns.
So
I just don't think Leon likes women from the things he says in his game. It's zero respect for them at all.
Agreed.
I thought Eric was going to say something.
Yeah, me too.
I wasn't going
He
to.
looked very intense.
I was reading.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Oh.
My face I have like a mini stroke when I start reading. What's this?
Go ahead.
But yeah, you should play Separate Ways, Dad. You said you got a bit of a slump in gaming, so give it
It's
a
only
go.
a couple hours long. It's not long.
Yeah. I need to play dot hack.
Yeah, you do. But yeah, this week's Christmas. Hopefully everybody has a lovely Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Fiddle-dee-dee.
Yeah.
In which case, unless you're listening to
Christmas.
this in the future and it's not Christmas.
Or as the Gonads say, Feliz Navidad.
This week's episode is brought to you by our wonderful Patreon sponsors, with an extra special thank you to Zach Foley, Santos Lopez, Sarah Irvine, Wes Rainey, Taylor Favor, Phil Gartside, Nicholas Bradley, James Hall, Thomas McGrew, Richard Cuttress, Jordan Lawfrey, Stephanie, Chad Schaefer, Miles Prower, Jeremy Lucas, Shannon McIntosh, and Samuel Chun.